It's a steamy night here in Saugerties as the Stallions welcome the Glens Falls Dragons to town for the first time this season, trying to avenge themselves after a bad loss in extra innings last night in Mohawk Valley. Welcome to the Arch Top Fiber pregame show. Dan Shalom with you alongside Nick Zuppi. Nick, I'm sweating right now. It's 85 degrees here in Saugerties. We need to get inside to the AC. I don't know how much longer I can be out here.
We need to get in that booth, more importantly. Let's call some baseball and have a great day for it.
The Stallions were on the road last night at Mohawk Valley. Like I mentioned, Saugerties falling in that one 5-4. Let's take you through how that one went down at Veterans Memorial Park. Stallions and Diamond Dogs very familiar with each other. These two teams played plenty down the stretch. Saugerties actually knocked out Mohawk Valley 5-4 in the Eastern Conference semifinals of the playoffs last year. Early on, the Stallions would get on the board thanks to an RBI from Nick Croce. That made it 1-0. In the bottom of the first, the Diamond Dogs would respond. We take you to the top of the fourth, where the Stallions would once again take the lead. This time, they get it on an RBI single. It's 2-1. They tack on another 3-1. Bottom of the fifth, Diamond Dogs not going away. They're going to make this one close all night long. It's 3-2. We take you to the bottom of the seventh, and the Diamond Dogs with a chance to score. Runners at the corners, one out, and it's thrown away by Montrell Christian Jr., the Georgia State reliever. First appearance for the Stallions, commits the error, and we're tied 3-3. Bottom of the ninth, Mohawk Valley with a chance to walk it off, but Luis Rodriguez is there, and we take things to extras, tied at 3-3. Runner starts at second. Stallions down to their final strike at the top of the 10th. Jack Painter just puts the ball in play, and guess who throws it away? Justin Hurd, the third baseman. Saugerties takes a 4-3 lead, headed to the bottom of the 10th. Trying to close things out. Diamond Dogs got one on the board thanks to the extra runner. One strike away from making this game a tie, and then the leadoff hitter, Joey Calabretti, walks things off to give the Diamond Dogs a 5-4 win. And it's ironic, Nick, that the score was 5-4 after the Stallions knocked out the Diamond Dogs 5-4 in last year's playoffs.
No doubt about it. Last year, every matchup between these two teams was a one-run game outside of the one tie that they had. So that 5-4 result, like you said, no shock to us.
And the problem in this game for Saugerties was really the runners left on base. 13 in total. That's now 3 straight games where they've left at least 10 runners on.
I'm going to focus on the last 3 innings, the 7th, 8th, and 9th. They left 4 guys on base alone. If you're going to play in a one-run game, in these type of games, you have to get the job done at the end of the game.
And you know that Mohawk Valley isn't going to go away throughout the entire game. We saw it plenty up at Veterans Memorial last season and last night. Stallions are now 0-2-1 over their last 3 games when playing away at Mohawk Valley. But, Nick, we have to transition over to tonight's game now against Glens Falls, and this is a team that the Stallions dominate, especially here at home.
Yeah, just a great game for a bounce back, more importantly, right? Glen Falls, like you said, 6 wins against Glen Falls here at Cantine last year. A huge opportunity to bounce back, get back in the win column, and move to 3-1 in the year.
I just want to touch on some of these numbers, though, because the Stallions have scored over 50 runs against the Glens Falls Dragons here at home, and Glens Falls couldn't even hit the 20 mark.
For me, it's all about the batting averages, right? So the Stallions hit north of 380 last year against the Glen Falls Dragons, but Glens Falls hit under 200. They hit under the Mendoza line. So the Stallions just hit, and they get the job done. That's why they win.
And a big part of why they've been so successful as of late has been Nick Croce, the Chipola College product. Nick, he has been spectacular for this team defensively and offensively, has been stepping up a lot for this squad lately.
He's been everything that head coach Colin Martin wanted. Batting third, he leads the team in RBIs with 6, playing great defense. He hasn't made an error yet through 3 games. So, like I said, head coach Colin Martin could not be more happy with the Chipola.
And I feel like you and I kind of talk about it a lot on the broadcast. This is a guy that always just puts the ball in play. He's not trying to do too much at the plate, and something that we've noticed with a lot of the Stallions hitters this year is not necessarily trying to hit the home run ball, but just trying to make solid contact.
You nailed it. You nailed it on that one. They only have 3 extra base hits through the first 3 games, where the pitching staff has done a great job. They've only allowed 5, but the Stallions also lead the Eastern Conference of the PGCBL in walks and hit by pitches. So, like you said, they're finding ways to get on base and score runs without driving the ball.
You know, it's another thing they lead the PGCBL in: stolen bases, 16 in total. Our sideline reporter Henry Hipschman has more on that.
I'm here on the diamond at Cantine Field, and you may be asking yourself why I'm standing next to third base. That's because the Stallions have stolen quite a few of these this season, 16 in fact, in the first 3 games. That leads the PG CBL. They had 4 in the season opener against the Glens Falls Dragons. They had 8 against the Oneonta Outlaws in the home opener, and then they had 4 in yesterday's loss to the Mohawk Valley Diamond Dogs. They've certainly started off the year aggressive, and that's exactly what head coach Colin Martin wants. He wants his players to be aggressive, especially early on. When they get aboard, if they see an open window, he wants them to take a shot, especially players like Luis Rodriguez and Justin Ford, who both have 4 stolen bases apiece. Luis Rodriguez, especially a big threat. He runs a 6.2 60-yard dash, and for those unfamiliar with the 60-yard dash, that is blazing fast. He's one of the fastest players in the PGCBL, and definitely someone to keep an eye on tonight. And a big question remains as the Glens Falls Dragons travel to take on the Stallions for the second time this season. How will they account for Saugerties base running?
Thanks so much, Henry. Interested to see how active the Stallions are on the base pass tonight. Now time to talk about our keys to the game. First one for me has to be drive the runners home. Saugerties had 13 left on base last night against Mohawk Valley, and there were plenty of instances, even starting in the first inning, where the bases were loaded and they could have blown the game wide open, but simply couldn't due to a lack of just getting the ball in play. So if they do that, I think they'll be set up for this game. On the other side of that, the Diamond Dogs had their leadoff runner on 9 out of the 10 innings last night at Veterans Memorial Park. For me, that's just putting yourself in danger right off the jump. Stallions need to be better in that regard. They've shown defensively that they can handle it, so pitchers just fill the zone, and I think in that regard, then they'll be set up for success. Nick, over to you. What do you got?
All right, Dan. 2 keys. Here's the first one. First one's going to be drive the ball. The Stallions lead the PGCBL in runs with 26, but only have 3 extra base hits thus far in the first 3 games. Nick Croce has 2, Justin Ford has the other one, but the Stallions need to drive the ball to the gaps, use their speed to turn doubles into triples, or maybe even hit the ball over the fence for some home runs. The second one, I'm going to focus on the top 3 guys in the order. Luis Rodriguez, Justin Ford, and Nick Croce. Those 3 in the loss yesterday to Mohawk Valley went 2 for 11 and only had 1 run scored. But in the 2 wins, they went 10 for 23, hitting north of 400, and combined for 12 runs with 8 walks. So if the top of the order can set the tone today, I think the Stallions are going to blow out.
Nick Stallion certainly hoping for a blowout here tonight at Cantine Field. Before we get you to first pitch in a little bit, time to take a look at our PGCBL East Division standings. Nick, Amsterdam topping the league at a perfect. No, they look unbeatable right now.
The 2-time reigning champs, you said it best. Amsterdam, I just don't see how they lose a game. They're pitching, they're hitting, they're running the bases well. Any team that's going up against them right now is up for a toss.
Stallions will have them here at home on Sunday night, and you look at the bottom of the league, Oneonta and Boonville both down there struggling to get going this season.
Oneonta specifically, they played the Stallions well. Through the first 6, they were only down by 1 before Saugerties' explosion kind of opened the floodgates there, but that's a team where
Welcome to Cantine Field here on a Wednesday evening. Dan Shalom with you alongside Nick Zuppi here in the Pack Hub broadcast booth. Nick Stallions at home for just the second time this season, hosting the Dragons and looking to come off a rough night last night where they fell in extras 5-4 and 10.
This is a perfect redemption spot for Saugerties, a team that they blew out in the first game of the year. Now is a chance to get their feet back on the right track.
That's what it's all about, and we talk about some of the reasons why this team struggled. Left on base was a problem. A couple of errors in that one led to that loss, but a perfect chance to bounce back here against the 1-2 Dragons, who are coming off of a win against Boonville. And for the Stallions, a new face on the mound tonight, but someone that they are familiar with, that being Matt Drillings, who was with the squad last season but has not appeared yet this season.
Drillings made 7 appearances last year. He had a 3-1 record, pitched to a 5.7 ERA in just 11 innings. So like you said, Dan, he's a familiar face to the fans here at Cantine.
And Drillings, in his last outing for the team, pitched 2 innings strong against the Mohawk Valley Diamond Dogs, that being in the playoffs, which aided the Stallions to that win over Mohawk Valley on July 30th. Starting lineup for the Dragons looks a little bit like this. Travis Stroh is in center field. Then it's the DH Gino Savoca. Enrique Diaz in the 3-hole was 1 for 4 last night at Boonville. Then it's Cody Meyer cleaning things up. He had a 2-run home run, which were the only runs scored against the Stallions last time. That was against the Stallions in the home opener for the Dragons. Then Trent Jenks, the extra hitter tonight. Michael Sweeney in the 6-hole, the Long Island product. Chase Falcon, Jackson Mueller, Ryan Jones behind the dish, and Christian Moat rounding things out. The Dragons batting 10 here tonight, a DH and an extra hitter. A
guy that I want to circle, Cody Mayer. He homered in the first game of the season that the Stallions played. So look for him in the cleanup spot to do some damage.
Should be a good one here tonight. The defensive alignment for the Saugerties Stallions. Sanchez is behind the dish from left to right on the infield. It's Croce, Comiskey, Cavazzoni, Painter. It's been the same type of infield guys for the Stallions all season long. And then in the outfield, Fords in left, Rodriguez in center. Haddiston won't have a play. And Drillings, another guy similar to Van Valkenburg last night, who's just going to pound that zone and put the ball in play.
Breaking ball just misses from Drillings. The count now moves to 1-2 on Stroh.
And you'll see it from Drillings throughout this outing. He loves to go to the power fastball as the put-away pitch. See if he goes to it here in a 1-2 against Stroh. Misses high and away, and the count's knotted at 2-2. Down low in the dirt. Nick, 3-2 count on the board. A lot of those last night for Stallions pitchers in Mohawk Valley.
Specifically with Marciano Neglia, he really just couldn't find the zone, throw consistent strikes.
Payoff. Looped over to second base. Cavazzoni chasing. It'll be Haben Seifkin to make the play out there in shallow right, and there's one out here in the top of the first. Gino Savoca, the DH, will be next here for the Dragons. Savoca, batting .250 through 2 games, was 1 for 2 in his last appearance, that being a couple days ago against Mohawk Valley. Stallions last night failed to put up a 0 on defense in the first inning, and the problem really last night, Nick, was self-inflicted errors. A lot of walks to the Diamond Dogs, and then the errors, especially the one by Montrell Christian Jr. in that bottom of the 7th to allow the tying run to score, was the problem and mainly the reason why the Stallions didn't walk away with a win.
In a one-run game in the late innings, you can't give teams extra outs, and Mohawk Valley really capitalized on it late.
Drillings finds the zone for strike 1. And the Stallions did lead 4-3 as well, going into that bottom of the 10th, with the PGCBL rules being a tie after 10 innings, with also the ghost runner, as this one misses upstairs. Stallions have a lot of momentum going into that bottom half of the 10th, but then really an unavoidable situation to get walked off on. Mohawk Valley had second and third with nobody out. Savoca chops it off himself, foul, and he seems to be in some pain.
Going back to last game, though, Dan, Virgil Heath was the guy who pitched the 10th inning for the Stallions, and he was in a situation where it was a runner on third, nobody out, tie ball game, and he was one strike away from giving the Stallions a tie, but ultimately a base hit by the leadoff hitter Calabretti did it for Mohawk Valley.
And Savoca still down, seems to be in some serious pain. That one chopped off himself. He missed the guard on that left ankle. He seems to be okay and is going to step back into the box. Two-two count. Drillings was in a 3-2 count to Stroh before getting him to fly out to right field. Stallions undefeated at home. I've only played one game here at home, that being against the Oneon Outlaws the other day. This one's hit out into center field. Rodriguez will make the play. 2 quick outs here in the top of the first.
2 weak outs to go a step further, Dan. Pop flies to Hubin Siefkin and Rodriguez, the 2 outfielders right and center. 2 weak outs. That's the biggest sign right now for Drillings. He's forcing weak contact, jamming these hitters.
Enrique Diaz, the third baseman, will be next. He takes a first pitch strike. Diaz 1 for 4 against Boonville last night, where the Dragons earned their first win of this season, that being a 5-2 victory in 9 innings. And this is a Glens Falls Dragons team that started 0-7 last year, so already having a win on the record is a major improvement for them. The 0-2. Strike 3 got him swinging. Drillings in his first innings for the Stallions this season puts together a 1-2-3. We head to the bottom half of the first. Bottom half of the first here at Cantine Field. Luis Rodriguez leading things off here for the Stallions. Rodriguez lays down the bunt right out to Nardacci. He throws to first in time for out number 1. Rodriguez did lay down the bunt yesterday at Mohawk Valley, was successful Let's talk a little bit about Ethan Nardacci, the starting pitcher here for the Glens Falls Dragons, an 8.76 ERA this past season.
In 15 starts, though, in 15 appearances out on the mound. That's the big thing. Some of these guys come to the PGCPL with limited work. He was worked hard this past college year at UAlbany.
It's his first appearance of the PGCBL season. Nick Croce, the third baseman, into the box for the Stallions. By far and away the hottest hitter so far of this group. We talked about him a little bit in the pregame show. Was the Pack-Up player of the game a couple nights ago with the two RBI doubles. And even last night, Nick was making an impact for this team, having that RBI single in the first inning.
He leads the team in RBIs with 6. The next highest Stallion has 3. So he's clearly been by far and away the best run producer for the Stallions.
1-1 pitch is fouled off to the right side. Back-to-back pitches where he sliced it off to the right side. A 1-2 count here to Croce, who we really haven't seen go down on strikes very much this year. That one misses outside for ball 2.
You mentioned him not going down on strikes. Only 1 strikeout through the first 3 games for Croce.
Two-two pitch here in the bottom of the first. Off-speed misses on the inside corner, and the count goes full. Croce also loves to work a walk. Was hit by the pitch last night at Mohawk Valley, but then a couple nights ago against Oneonta and Glens Falls had a couple. This one's grounded right back to the pitcher. Flip over to first is in time. 2 quick outs here in the bottom of the first. For the Stallions and the Dragons, both 1 out away now from going down 1-2-3. Travis Hobbins-Siefkin will be next. Hobbins-Siefkin has been a machine this season for the Stallions. A hit in every game. Tasers this one into the left center field gap. Stroh throws it in quick, but it's a pretty hard hit single there for Travis Hobbins-Siefkin. And the Stallions have a base runner here with 2 outs in the bottom of the first.
Stroh did a nice job, though, of cutting that ball off in the left center gap. It looked like Hobbins-Siefkin was going to get on 2, but instead Stroh makes a nice play, holds Hobbins-Siefkin to a single.
Danny Barbero in the box next for the Stallions. This one bounces away from Jones, and Hobbins-Siefkin will move up 90 feet for free. We talk about Barbero. Last night in his first ever plate appearance with the Stallions, had a single in that 7th, a sac bunt in the 10th, which eventually scratched across the run. Went to Butler this past season where he batted .250, but is now in the portal looking for a new home. And we are on the Pack Hub broadcast booth. Pack Hub bringing plenty of athletes like Barbero into the portal, giving easy access for coaches to find top-level players. Barbero takes a strike down the middle. It's 1-1.
Nardacci's fastball has certainly come out steaming thus far. To Croce, we saw it. Barbero, Hobbins-Siefkin lined one back up the middle, and even Rodriguez laying it down. Nardacci's fastball has been impressive thus far.
1-1 pitch misses. And this is a Glens Falls team that has really been dominated here at Cantine Field, at least last season. 0-6 and only scored 17 runs. Definitely something that they're going to want to try and correct this season. Barbero does go around. It'll be 2-2.
In those 6 games, like you mentioned, Dan, Saugerties hit .380 while Glens Falls hit .190.
2 very different teams last season. But the Dragons only have 1 less win than the Stallions right now, and these two teams would actually be even with each other if Glens Falls were to get a win here tonight. Hobbin-Siefken is at second, Barbero at the dish, and a full count with 2 outs here in the bottom of the first. Naradachi comes set at the belt, now deals. Hobbin-Siefken goes over to third. Barbero walks, and there's runners at the corners for Justin Ford, who's making his first appearance this year, Nick, in that 5-hole.
He's batted second, like you said, the first 3 games, but Hobbin-Siefken with the steal, that's his 5th in the season, which gives him the tie for the team lead.
Not Ford's night last night, 1 for 5 with a strikeout. But still, overall, this season has been putting up impressive numbers, a .333 batting average, and a guy who loves to knock in runs. That one's in there for a strike.
Ford also, we were talking about the matchups with Glens Falls and Saugerties at Cantine. In those 4 games that he played in, he hit .454. He got 5 hits and 11 at-bats last year.
Nardachi misses down in the dirt. Stallions this season have only scored in the first inning once, that being last night against Mohawk Valley. Didn't get one across against Glens Falls till the second inning. Barbero takes second for free, and now a ball to the outfield could score 2 runs.
The third member of our team, Henry Hipschman, did a sideline report on stolen bases, and already 2 here in the first inning from the Stallions.
Saugerties 16 coming into this game. Ford chops this one over to the left side. Diaz throws to first, and it's way over Muller's head. Coming home to score is Barbero. Ford to second, and the Stallions cash in on the error. It's 2-0. And Nick, the Stallions got hurt by errors last night, this time benefit. But it's really been a back-and-forth seesaw effect for them in the E category.
Especially, you mentioned how they scored in the first inning last game. That came off an error by the shortstop, so Saugerties taking full advantage of defensive misfortunes.
And we've talked about it again and again and again. This is not a team that you can gift runs to. They are going to hurt you if you shoot yourself in the foot. And the Dragons doing that here in the bottom of the first. It's 2-0 Stallions. Casey Comiskey, the shortstop, at the dish. Chops this one to Diaz. Tries to field it cleanly. This time he does, but not before the Stallions get on the board. Thanks to Justin Ford, who put the ball in play. Enrique Diaz with the E5 has the Stallions up by a couple as we head. Welcome back to Saugerties. Dan Shalom with you alongside Nick Zuppi here in the Pack Hub broadcast booth. Nick, the Stallions taking advantage of some costly Glens Falls errors there in that first inning.
Enrique Diaz, what a just terrible throw. He gave the first baseman of Muller no chance to come up with that one. Like you said, Dan, 2 runs in the opening inning for the Stallions.
The Stallions, like you mentioned, Nick, last night scored their first run off an error and ended up giving away the game-tying run off an error. Team as a whole has 4 defensively over its first 3 games. Cody Meyer will start things off here in the top half of the second for Glens Falls. When these two teams played a few days ago up at East Field, Meyer had the only runs, a 2-run blast coming in that bottom half of the fourth, which made the game 3-2 at the time. This one's going all the way back. Rodriguez fields it off a hop, throws in quickly. It's a stand-up double for Cody Meyer here in the top of the second. Nick, the interesting thing about that, his only hit this season was that 2-run home run against the Stallions. Gets his second extra base hit here tonight off Drillings.
I think the Stallions might need to trade for him because that's the one thing they need, extra base hits. No one in this Stallion lineup right now has been hitting the ball to get to multiple bases, right? Meyer, like you said, Dan, second extra base hit of the season, second extra base hit against the Stallions alone.
Trent Jenks, the extra hitter, will be next. First runner in scoring position of the evening for Glens Falls. First pitch from Drillings is a strike. Dragons, one of the unique teams in this league that like to bat 10, so they have an extra hitter and the DH in the lineup. Drillings misses outside for ball one. Jenks still searching for his first hit of the season, and not a better time to get it than right now. And scratch one across for the Dragons. One pitch. Outside for ball two. Stallions suffered their first loss up at Mohawk Valley last night. Now have a 1-1 record on the road. Still haven't lost here at home, but only played one game against Oneonta, that being on Sunday night, a 10-1 victory. Drillings getting the sign, taking a lot of time here. Jenks will call time, now steps back in. Here's the pitch. Fouled off to the right side, and Drillings with a chance for a K. Drillings struck out Enrique Diaz to end the top half of the first. Searching for K number 2 right here. Just misses at the top of the zone. Home plate umpire Jeff Ramsdale not giving it to him, and the count will go full.
Numerous Stallion pitchers have been ahead early in the count and then somehow work their way back to full. Drillings doing so once more already for the second time this game in just the top of the second.
The payoff. Jenks just stays alive, and you mentioned those 0-2 counts that become 3-2 counts. We saw it with Steven Svensson against the Oneonta Outlaws on Sunday night here at Cantine Field. 4 straight batters, his first 4 actually, were all 0-2 and then they went full. And last night with Marciano Neglio was the same type of thing, which put him in danger giving up that run in the bottom of the first. Drillings deals. Strike 3, got him right down the middle. Drillings goes to the gas and gets the K. One down here in the top of the second.
Jenks disagreed with that call. He was taking a couple steps to first base, but the umpire rung him up on strike 3.
Next for the Dragons will be Michael Sweeney, the shortstop. He's been on a tear so far this season, 4 for 7 to start his Dragons campaign. Tries to lay down the bunt. Pulls back in time, so it'll be ball 1. Sweeney graduated from Chaminade and was an electric player down there for the Flyers. Now translating that success here to the Dragons, was 3 for 3 last night against Boonville. A big reason why the Dragons got that win. Rocks this one out to center field. Rodriguez going back. He's on the track. It's over his head. Bounces off the wall. Meyer is at third. He will stop there. It's a stand-up double for Michael Sweeney, and the Dragons are in business. Second and third with one out here in the top of the second.
After very weak fly ball contact in the first, Drillings giving up some loud contact, sending Rodriguez back to the wall twice in this top of the second inning alone.
I think we look back at that. It was very similar to Cody Meyer's double, right over Rodriguez's head to the deepest part of the ballpark. Drillings has to be lucky here that those balls weren't hit other places because they would be home runs, and this game would be 2-2. But after the double, Sweeney leaves the game. Now Tate Van Houten will be at second base. Seemed like Sweeney was jogging off with an injury, was pulling at that right hamstring when he was pulling up to second. Runners are at second and third. It's an 0-1 count here to the left fielder, Chase Falcon. That one misses down low. And for the Dragons' sake, if Sweeney is seriously injured, that would be a massive blow given that he's been the hottest bat in the lineup, 5 for 8 to start his campaign, and just took one of the Stallions' best arms 10 feet short of a home run.
4 hits in his last 4 at-bats, too, so he's on fire, like you said.
This one's grounded over to second base. Cavazzoni will field it cleanly. The Dragons will get the run on the RBI fielder's choice. It's 2-1.
Productive out right there from Falcon. Ground ball to second, scores the run.
And if you're the Stallions, more than fine giving up that run for the out right there. Jackson Mueller, the first baseman from UAlbany, at the dish. Big cut and a miss. First strike one.
Mueller is a big guy, though. 6'4", 230, a big frame.
That one misses down low. And you mentioned his frame. Nick, I'm scared kind of just looking at him from up here. He would be towering over me. And not to even say I'm a short guy. I'm probably 5'11", 6 foot, but just with Mueller's size, definitely imposing for a guy like Drillings.
How do you think I feel, Dan? You're an inch or two taller than me, maybe, give or take. And if he's intimidating to you, how do you think I feel?
For the Stallions' sake, hopefully not too intimidating to Matt Drillings. Dragons have a runner at third trying to tie up this game with a base hit. And it would be a great time for Mueller to get his first. He doesn't have one just yet. Cut and a miss, and the count's 2-2. Lots of twos here on the board. 2-2 count, 2 outs here in the top half of the second with Stallions having 2 runs on the board. Drillings deals. Misses outside, and once again, we have a 3-2 count.
Sanchez made a nice stab at that fastball, though. Last night, the Mohawk Valley backstop was massive. Here, back at home at Cantine Field, it's not as big, so it won't play as big of a factor in this one as it did last night.
The payoff. Popped up on the infield. Sanchez playing it in foul territory. He can't make the play. And he had a similar one to that the other night, Nick, that he couldn't locate in the exact same spot.
Exactly, you said it best. I'm surprised, like 2 nights ago, that Croce didn't call him off right there. Sanchez is running in, Croce is running the other way, so I'm surprised.
Mueller gets another life. Payoff. Chopped over to short. Comiskey fields it cleanly, throws to first in time. The Dragons cut the Stallions' lead in half here in the top of the second. It's 2-1. Welcome back to Saugerties. Dan Shalom with you alongside Nick Zuppi here in the Pack Hub broadcast booth. Dragons cutting the Stallion lead in half in that top half of the second, plating one after 2 doubles. Saugerties will look to respond with Jack Painter coming to the dish. And Painter was pivotal in last night's clash, Nick. He had a 0-2 count on him in the top half of the 10th with Haben Seifkin over at third. Battled in that one, pushed it to 2-2, put the ball in play, and forced an error from the Diamond Dogs' third baseman, which gave the Stallions the lead, although it didn't end up mattering in the end.
Very similar play to the bottom of the first inning with Ford. All he did was put a ground ball in play, and good thing happened, run scored.
First pitch is a strike. This one's lined up the middle. It'll get through Moat, and it's a rocket single for Painter to start off the bottom of the second. Nick, that one had some pepper on it right there.
In the second inning, we're seeing some absolute rockets. 2 doubles in the top half, and then Painter with the liner almost taking Nardacci's head off.
Logan Sanchez, the catcher, will come to the dish. Going over to second is Painter, not known for his speed, but I think he would have beaten that one out even if the ball didn't get into the outfield. Stallions have a runner in scoring position.
Third stolen base for the Stallions thus far already in the first 2 innings, and the first of the season for Jack Painter.
Everybody's stealing bags here for the Stallions in 2025. Sanchez last played versus the Outlaws on Sunday night, 2 for 5 in that one with 2 ribbies. Going to keep a close eye over there at Painter. One-0. Crack to the right side, just foul. Sanchez out of Wofford, standing at 6'2". Won a district title twice in high school and had an OPS of over 1,000. So a guy with plenty of potential. Stallions hoping he can deliver with an RBI here. Has one in every game he's played thus far. That one misses down low from Nardacci, and the count's 2-1.
Through the first 4 games, Sanchez and other catcher Sam Blanco have been alternating. We saw Blanco last night, now Sanchez behind the dish for the Stallions.
This one's looped over to Sweeney. He throws to first. It's in time. Moving over to third is Painter. The throw gets away. He's going to stay there. Productive out number 1 for the Stallions.
I thought it was going to be unproductive, though. A good throw by the first baseman, Mueller, and Painter is out at third base.
Gabe Cavazzoni, the 9-hole hitter here tonight, will be next for the Stallions. Saugerties need a ball to the outfield for a run to score. That one misses outside for ball 1. Stallions this season, a team that loves to just explode offensively, but happens at different points of the game. Against Glens Falls in the opener was early on. Mercied them in 7 innings. On Sunday night against Oneonta, it was more in the latter half of the game. 8 runs in the 7th and the 8th. And then last night in Mohawk Valley, scored early on in the 1st and the 4th, but that Painter leaves off third. This one's chopped foul on the third baseline, and the count goes to 2-2. Luis Rodriguez waiting on deck. And regardless of if there's 1 or 2 outs on the board, Nick, you could definitely see Rodriguez try and lay down that bunt if Painter's still sitting over there at third.
We did see it last night. Rodriguez with a man on third, like you said, tried to lay down the bunt.
This one's into right. Meyer is under it. Is it deep enough to score Painter? He's sent home. Here's the throw. It's on line, but it's fumbled by Jones. The sac fly by Cavazzoni is successful, and the Stallions have a 3-1 lead here at Cantine Field. Nick, that was tight at the plate. If Jones had come up with it cleanly, Painter could have been nailed there.
Two opposite plays in back-to-back, two opposite throws in back-to-back plays. The first baseman, Muller, could have definitely got Painter out at third, and that one on the throw home, Jones catches it. Painter is done. He's out.
Rodriguez fouls that one away. And we look back at that previous play. Really, that last bounce messed up Jones, and he just couldn't time it right to slap that tag down.
Short hop, that's what it was. Short hop right underneath Jones's glove.
Rodriguez tried to lay down a bunt in his first at-bat, but Nardacci fielded it cleanly. That one skims Rodriguez. He's hit by the pitch. He'll take first base. And Rodriguez was hit last night after walking his first 2 plate appearances. I feel like that's a category the Stallions might be leading the PGCBL, and seems like a lot of their hitters have been getting skimmed as of late.
Is head coach Colin Martin sending these guys up there with a baseball magnet? I mean, it seems to be working. They're getting runners on base, but the wrong kind of hits, if you ask me.
Rodriguez gets his lead off at first, and he's immediately dashing over to second. No throw. You knew once Rodriguez was over there at first, he was going. The second that Nardacci lifted his right knee.
Great jump on that one. You said it best, Dan. In the first game against Glens Falls, back in the top of the first, he was gunned down at second because of a poor jump. This one, he knew he was going right away and had the bag stolen easily.
We'll give him a look over at second. And his speed is unmatched. Stallions already in this game. 4 stolen bases. And it's only the bottom half of the second. That one catches the top of the zone for strike 1.
If you're a Stallions fan right now, the right man is at the dish. He leads the team with 6 RBIs. Perfect opportunity to make it number 7.
That being Nick Croce hits this one over to first, but Muller's ready for it that time. Rodriguez was going on the play. It was a hit and run, but all for naught. Regardless, the Stallions scratch across one more here in the bottom of the second. They have a 2-run lead as we head to the third. Welcome back to Cantine Field. Dan Shalom with you alongside Nick Zuppi. Matt Drillings is out of this game after 2 innings of 1-run ball. Keller Osbin is on, making his first appearance for Saugerties this season. First batter he faces is Ryan Jones, who's behind the dish tonight for the Dragons. This one's looped into left center field for a base hit. Jones gets his first base hit of the season. And now Keller Osbin, in his first inning of work, has a little bit of traffic to work with.
A rude greeting for sure. First pitch of the season for the Stallions, and Osbin is greeted very rudely with a single from Jones.
Osbin at Santa Rose this past season, 4 2/3 innings pitched, a 3.86 ERA, and he is getting hit around early on. The 10-hole hitter, Christian Moat, pokes one into left field, and there's runners at first and second with nobody out here in the top of the third.
2 pitches, 2 hits.
Top of the order here for the Dragons. Travis Stroh at the dish. Perfect place here for a bunt. Runners are at second and first. This one's laid down the line. Croce fields it clean, throws to first in time for the out. Runners move up 90 feet. A productive out number 1 here for the Dragons, and now a chance to drive home a couple of runs with 1 out.
Stroh was really running fast down the line, though. Made it a close play, even though it really shouldn't have been. But Stroh hustled, tried to make the bases loaded, but ultimately Croce got him at third.
Gino Savoca, the DH, will be next. Flew out to center field in his first at-bat. And for Osbin, comes into this game, first 2 pitches that he throws are hit for singles.
2 bloop singles, if you will. Not the hardest contact. We saw Drillings last inning give up 2 loud doubles. Those 2 were the complete opposite.
Jones at third, Moat at second. Osbin misses outside. It's 2-1. Big cut and a miss on the off speed. Interesting decision to pull Drillings from the game after just 2 innings and 1 earned run, but this also a matchup where head coach Colin Martin could be thinking about getting those new arms in there just to get some live game experience.
Exactly. Get them their work in, right? Especially right here, Osbin. He only pitched 5 times last season, so this is a guy who hasn't seen much work of late.
Check swing there by Savoca goes foul to the left-hand side. The count stays at 1-2. Stallions leading the Dragons 3-1. Here in the top half of the third, Glens Falls threatening. And Nick, for a team that only put up 17 runs here last season in 6 games, certainly seems like a totally different squad.
They've come out swinging. That's the biggest thing for me. They're not really taking any strikes. The first good pitch they see, they're looking to drive it.
Are coming off of that win last night against Boonville. Stallions will travel to face the Lumberjacks tomorrow night. 2-2. Hit over to the right side. This will drive home a run. Cavazzoni throws to first in time. No, safe call. And that's one that Cavazzoni is going to want back. We talk about pitcher fielding a lot in baseball, Nick. That one seemed like a little bit of confusion right there between Painter and Osbin. Ends up scoring a run for the Dragons.
The biggest thing, Painter was nowhere near the base because of that confusion. Like you said, took Cavazzoni 2 extra shuffles to get that throw off.
You see it right there. Just confusion between the pitcher and the first baseman for Saugerties. Lets in the run. Dragons with a chance here to tie up this game with a runner at third. And over at first is Savoca. That one misses down low. Osborne having a rough start to his first outing here as a Stallion.
And no action in the bullpen either, so this is all Osborne right here in the top of the third.
This one's popped up on the infield, just what the doctor ordered. Comiskey is under it. He makes the play, and there's two down here in the top of the third, but that one seemed like it might have been dropping on the infield, but Comiskey grabs it just before it comes down.
I'm sticking my arm out of the broadcast booth thinking there's wind, but because that ball looked like it was sailing all over the place with Comiskey backpedaling like that.
Cody Meyer up next for the Dragons, and he's been a Stallion killer this season. A double and a two-run home run against Saugerties in 4 plate appearances so far. Dashing over to second is Savoca, no throw down. So runners at second and third now for the Dragons here in the top of the third. They've already scratched across one.
If I'm head coach Colin Martin, first base is open. I'm not throwing anything near the zone to this guy.
A weak swing there from Meyer makes the count 1-1. Over at third is Moat. Savoca at second. Cody Meyer at the dish for the Dragons, trying to tie or take the lead in this game. And Nick, ironically, the Stallions still have not trailed for any part of any game, because last night was a walk-off in which they lost 5-4, but led throughout the entire contest. Meyer calls time. This is a Dragons team that doesn't scratch across many runs historically. Only had 2 last time against the Stallions. Have matched that total here in just 2 2/3 innings here tonight. The pitch misses down low, and a nice job by Sanchez to scoop that one and not let it get to the backstop. Not as big of a backstop as Mohawk Valley last night, but still dangerous with a speedy Moat over there at third.
And he had a great secondary lead. If that ball gets behind Sanchez, Moat was ready to run, and that game would have been tied.
2-2 count. 2 runners on. 2 outs here in the top of the third. Seems like Osborne is having trouble finishing his pitch. That's back-to-back pitches where he's missed with the off-speed, and you can just see him falling off the mound a little bit on his delivery.
Like you said, he's not getting that finish. He's not getting that depth that he wants. A little too outside.
Full count. 2 outs here in the top of the third. Dragons threatening to tie the game. The bases are loaded full of Dragons as Trent Jenks comes to the dish. Cody Meyer has been by far and away the best hitter for this Dragons team so far today, a double and a walk. And the Stallions are going to want to talk this one over before facing Jenks, who is still searching for his first hit of the year.
After the stolen base to second, first base was open. The walk right there to Mayer is not the worst thing to happen. Bring up a guy who, like you said, Dan, is still searching for his first hit of the season.
Stallions were pressed last night in Mohawk Valley. The Diamond Dogs did have bases loaded in that first inning. Stallions only allowed a run in that situation, and obviously trying to give up nothing here.
That's the biggest thing. That's one of the biggest takeaways for this Stallion pitching staff last night. They only allowed 2 hits with runners in scoring position in 11 attempts for Mohawk Valley.
Jenks last time he played was against Mohawk Valley a couple days ago, went 0 for 3 in that one with a strikeout. Stallions can get out of this inning at any base. First pitch in there for strike one. The 0-1 misses at the bottom of the zone. And ironically, Nick, last time these two teams played, Trent Jenks actually pitched against the Stallions. He's a two-way guy.
And he actually did fairly well in 2 innings. He only gave up 1 earned run. So it's interesting. Can he get some runs for the Mohawk? Excuse me.
You still got Mohawk Valley on your mind from last night. Very similar situation, so I understand where your brain was going there. 1-2 count, 2 outs. Bases are loaded, full of Dragons. Stallions still leading by 1. Glens Falls has scored a run here in the top of the third. The pitch just misses at the bottom of the zone. Home plate umpire Jeff Ramsdale not giving that call. It's a 2-2 count. 2 outs. Top of the third. Bases full of Dragons. Osborne shakes off the sign, now comes set at the belt, and fires. Another pitch that just misses that outside corner, and the count goes full. Runners will be released here.
If you saw Osmond after that pitch, you saw the grunt after that pitch was a ball. He really wanted that one. He needed that one, more importantly, to get out of it.
And he's working hard here in the top half of the third. The payoff. Jenks stays alive, and we'll do it again. Stallions looking to limit the damage here in the top half of the third. They've been very good at that this season. Stranded 11 Mohawk Valley batters last night. Osmond deals. Misses at the bottom of the zone. A run will come home to score, and we are tied at 3 here in the top of the third. Tate Van Alsten's next. Austin came into this game as a substitution for Michael Sweeney, who after his double in the top half of the second left this game with injury. Austin trying to deliver for his squad. He's down quickly 0-2, and this is a situation where the Dragons would have wanted Michael Sweeney, who's been on a tear, 4 for his last 4 and already had a double in this game.
Not just a bloop double or a soft contact double. That ball was scolded, sending Rodriguez all the way back to the warning track, the deepest part of the ballpark.
3-3 game here in the top of the third. Bases are loaded. Here's the pitch. This is down low. And again, we can't talk enough about how important it is for Sanchez to really be getting down and blocking those balls that get in the dirt. The payoff. Chopped over to second. Cavazzoni will flip to Comiskey at second, and they get the out. Stallions limit the damage and get out of the jam, but not before Glens Falls puts 2 across here in the top of the third, tied at 3, heading to the bottom of the third here from Cantine Field. Bottom of the third here at Cantine Field. Dragons tying this game at 3 in the top half of the third. And, Nick, the Stallions are lucky that it was only 2 because it could have been a lot more with the bases loaded.
The biggest out was the first and third pop out last inning. That was a prime opportunity to do some real damage, put up a crooked number, even though they only did put up 2 runs.
And every game last year here at Cantine Field just really wasn't competitive between these two sides. But the Dragons have a new roster this season with a lot of electrifying players, and it makes sense why they're being competitive here early on.
You mentioned the non-competitive games. 57 runs for Saugerties, 13 for the Dragons. Complete mismatch.
Travis Hobbins-Siefken will lead things off here in the bottom of the third. First pitch in there, first strike 1. Hobbins-Siefken had the first hit of this game for the Stallions. And he has another one right here. That one slapped through the hole between short and third. And the Stallions have a base runner here with nobody out in the bottom of the third.
Hobbins-Siefken now raising his average to 500 on the season, 6 for 12 thus far in the first 4 for Saugerties.
Denny Barbero, the DH, will be next. Hobbins-Siefken was the first run of this game as well for the Stallions in that first inning. Ended up stealing second and then came around to score, and that's why Nardacci is being very wary of him over at first.
Rodriguez, too. He went on the first pitch just last inning. I wonder if Hobbins-Siefken is thinking the same thing as his teammate.
There he goes, Nick. This one's popped up in the air. He's got a dash back. Diaz trying to play it in foul territory. He makes the play as he falls. Hobbins-Siefken goes back to first, and there's one out here in the bottom of the third.
A hit-and-run attempt right there for the Stallions. Barbero swinging at the high fastball. Couldn't get on top of it, popped it straight up to the third baseman, Diaz.
If that was a line out, could have been costly. Stallions got doubled up last night at Mohawk Valley. Justin Ford tasered one right to first base. Luis Rodriguez couldn't get back in time, resulted in a double play.
There was actually 2 last game against Mohawk Valley. Ford again hit one up the middle when Rodriguez was stealing, and the shortstop just basically fielded it, stepped on the bag, and doubled up Ford.
And it was unfortunate the Stallions did put on the hit and run as this one's thrown away. Hobbins-Siefken will advance to second. And, Nick, that wasn't even an aggressive throw over. It seemed like he just skied that one, lobbing it.
Exactly. It was a lollipop to me. No intention of getting Hobbins-Siefken out at first, but here comes the mound visit, so I wonder if his arm right there may have just gave out on him.
Second error of the evening for Glens Falls. If you go back to the first inning, the Stallions cashed in 2 runs thanks to Justin Ford just putting the ball in play, and Enrique Diaz threw it way over Mueller's head at first base. That scored 2 runs. Stallions hoping that they can cash in once again here in the bottom of the third. Justin Ford at the dish. Hobbins-Siefken is at second base. Ford at the plate. Takes the off speed for the first strike of this at-bat. Ford does have an RBI this season. Looking for number 2. Last year had 31 with the Stallions, so a guy that is more than comfortable in this uniform at bringing runs home.
One of the reasons why he was the first team all PGCBL last year, 31 RBIs to go along with the .355 batting average.
Hobbins-Siefken is at second. Ford at the plate. It's a 1-1 count. That one misses down low for ball 2. Ford also a disciplined eye 21 walks last season with this Stallions team. So far this year has 2. Nardacci misses down low. There is an arm warming in that Glens Falls bullpen, so see if Nardacci finishes out this 3rd inning.
The manager for the Dragons is on the top step, so I wonder if a walk here will be it for the starting pitcher of Nardacci.
And that one wasn't even competitive. And you can see now that Glens Falls head coach waving his cap in the air, telling his arm to get ready to go. And here it is, Nick. You might be a psychic because we've got a Dallas Outwieners call to the bullpen on our hands.
I don't know, Dan. I'm no psychic, but you just got to have a feel for the game, right?
No doubt, and it seemed like Nardacci was just getting tired here in this bottom of the 3rd, bouncing a couple of pitches. Stallions have runners at 1st and 2nd, 1 out here in the bottom of the 3rd, tied at 3. We'll be right back. Jake O'Connor on the bump here for the Dragons after a Dallas Outwieners call to the bullpen. Faces Casey Comiskey. This one is flared out to Modet short. He will go to 2nd for the force. Runners at the corners after the fielder's choice here in the bottom of the 3rd. And O'Connor appeared in this league last season, was with the Albany Baseball Club, which no longer exists. They folded as an organization. In his time with Albany, a 6.88 ERA over 16 games played.
4 starts to go along with it, so this is a guy who can give them depth on the mound out of the bullpen.
And ironically enough, his last appearance in the PGCBL was here at Cantine Field with the Albany Baseball Club. 3 2/3 innings pitched in that one, giving up 4 earned runs. Stallions still have runners at the corners following the fielder's choice. Jack Painter, the first baseman, at the dish. Hits this one over to Van Asselin. He'll throw it over to first in time. After the Dragons were in a jam with runners at 1st and 2nd, they get 2 quick outs here in the bottom of the 3rd. We head to the 4th, tied at 3. Nick Zuppi will have you on play-by-play when we come back. because I unplugged both the other ones. Ready?
Welcome back to Canton Memorial Field. I'm Nick Zuppi alongside Dan Shalom. Top of the fourth is now underway. First pitch is a strike from Osmond. But joining us in the Pack Hub broadcast booth is our sideline reporter, Hannah Tampasitz, on an update about the Stallions' fourth inning thus far this season.
So far, the fourth inning has been a current trend that the Stallions put up several runs as well as shutting out the other team. We start to see now that we have 4 new pitchers as we rotate them in this game. Hopefully we can keep that trend, shutting out the team within the rest of the game.
The run differential thus far is 6-0 Stallions against opponents. Hannah, what do you think has been the biggest contributor to that success specifically in the fourth inning?
Being down on the sideline, I do see throughout the game players' encouragement pick up as well as the coaches. So I think just as the team goes on throughout the game, chemistry begins to build, and we get into our heads that we need to start scoring runs and keep going.
Ford makes the nice running play to retire Falcon to start the top of the fourth. So, Hannah, what do you think Osmond has to do in this inning, the pitcher for the Stallions, to continue to put up zeros?
I agree.
To continue putting up zeros, obviously throwing strikes down the middle is easily the most important part. Definitely our outfield, Luis Rodriguez has been really good with catching those fly balls at center field. So as long as we just keep going with the strikes and the catches, the outs down the middle, we should be all good to go.
Well, thank you so much for hopping on, Hannah. I really appreciate all the insights you give and continue to do such great work. Osmond, even in the count, 1-1 to the first baseman, Jackson Muller. 1-1 pitch is low in the dirt, ball 2. Muller back in the second hit a ground ball to short. That's the only plate appearance he has this game. And he's only been in the dish one other time in the PGCBL, which was a strikeout. The 2-1 pitch is low in the dirt, ball 3. So Hannah thinks that all you have to do is throw strikes down the middle, but Osmond getting a little erratic right here against Muller. The 3-1 is lined right up the middle for a base hit. Jackson Muller picks up his first hit of the season for the Dragons. That'll bring up the number 9 hitter, the catcher, Ryan Jones.
And Nick, we saw Osmond struggle with the control. The first 2 batters he faced both hit a single off him, weak contact, but I think that probably got in his head a little bit, rattled his confidence, and he just needs to settle down a little bit right now.
He did have a very erratic top of the third inning, gave up some runs, but he did have some good outs. Pop out first and third when there was only 1 out to kind of limit the damage. His first pitch to Jones is lined hard foul down the first base line. Ryan Jones for the Dragons is the catcher today. He's only played 1 time against Saugerties. He went 0 for 3 with a strikeout just a couple of days ago at East Field. Action in the Saugerties bullpen. A lefty is throwing on the mound. This one is bounced past Sanchez, and Muller will advance to second base on the wild pitch from Osmond.
Nick, we've talked about it over and over again. You have to protect that plate. There's simply no other way about it. It hurt them last night at Mohawk Valley, and now putting the go-ahead run at second base with 1 out.
Something that helped them, though, was that Stallion pitchers retired 9 of 11 Mohawk Valley hitters when there was a runner in scoring position. The 1-1 pitch is lined foul from Jones. Now 1-2, Osmond ahead on the Dragon backstop. Mueller on second after the wild pitch 2 pitches ago. Osmond ready. His slide step is a breaking ball, foul off of the third base's coach's hand. So we'll do it again. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 1 out. Top of the fourth, Saugerties and Glens Falls tied at 3 here on the top of the fourth.
I'd imagine after all of this, the first time the Stallions trail is to be down to Glens Falls. That would certainly be a twist, Nick.
I know, we weren't thinking that to start the game. Osmond's 1-2 is popped up foul. Jack Painter running after it. Seems to be under it. He is under it. Makes the play. Foul out for Jones. That's the second one Osmond's gotten here in the top of the fourth. Up next is the number 10 hitter, Christian Moat, the second baseman.
And Jones and Moat were the two batters that Osmond first faced when he came into this game, who both hit singles off him. Has to be a confidence booster there to get Jones on weak contact over to Painter.
Moat is now playing shortstop after the injury to Sweeney. Van Austin came into the game for him and moved over to second. Moat has only played one game thus far in the PGCPL versus the Boonville Lumberjacks last night. In that, he went 0 for 3 with a strikeout. Osmond's 0-1 is a breaking ball just inside, count even back to 1. So Osmond has a chance to put up his first 0 this summer for the Stallions after giving up 2 runs the previous inning in the top of the third. Osmond set at the belt, slide step and fires. Fastball is up in the zone for a strike. 1-2, 2 outs. Osmond just 1 strike away from getting out of this one. But last night against Mohawk Valley, we saw a pitcher for the Stallions, Virgil Heath, 1 strike away from giving him a tie. But this one is put in play. Cavazzoni fields, fires, and retires Moat. So that'll do it here in the top of the 4th. Osmond throws a scoreless inning, but we're going to the bottom of the 4th. Stallions coming to bat when we come back from Cantine Memorial Field.
Yeah, perfect.
Welcome back to Cantine Memorial Field here on the top of the 4th. I'm Nick Zuppi alongside Dan Shalom. Saugerties up to bat. They've got 8-9-1 in the order. Sanchez, Cavazzoni, and Rodriguez coming up to face a new pitcher for the Dragons. That will be Gabe Gifford. Dan, what do we need to know about him?
Gifford, the lefty, 5'10 sophomore out of the University of Maine. Sported a 10-2 ERA this past season. Definitely wanting to lower that number here in the PGCBL, but another guy, Nick, like a lot of these guys in the PGCBL, who really didn't see as much action as he would have liked.
It's just a shame but that's why he's here. Like you said, see some action. His first pitch is in there. First pitch, fastball right at the bottom of the zone on Logan Sanchez, the catcher for the Stallions. Lefty set at the belt. Here's the 0-1. It is fouled off to the right side by Sanchez. So Gifford comes in out of the bullpen and is already 0-2 on the Saugerties backstop. Gifford, not a big guy, 5'10", 190, but decent frame out on the mound. The 0-2 is fouled off hard back to the backstop. Sanchez all over that one, just missed it. In his last AB, Logan Sanchez hit a ground ball to short back in the bottom of the second inning. (0-2) now for Sanchez steps out and calls time.
And I like that right there by Sanchez. You're down 0-2, want to battle in this count a little bit. Throw the pitcher off timing a little bit and walk back into the box.
Gifford's 0-2 is a fastball inside, knocks into the Saugerties dugout over here.
Watch out, Nick.
Watch out. Hey,
We
you
haven't
never
seen
know.
it just yet, but here at Cantine Field, if there's a lefty batter in that box, you and I are in prime position to get
I
hit.
do bring my glove at every game, so I'm ready. But the problem is I think I have to wear it. That would be the bigger issue. 1-2 pitch is a fastball up in the zone 2-2 now on Sanchez.
And listen, all I'm going to say is my high school baseball stats, pretty good. I feel like I could protect us.
Gifford's 2-2 is in the dirt, ball 3. Sanchez down 0-2, works his count back to full. Dan, what position did you play in back in high school?
Pitcher, third base, and first baseman.
What was the go-to pitch when you were out on the
It
mound?
had to be the fastball. I mean, my off-speed stuff could barely locate in the zone.
Gifford's full count pitch is up and away, ball 4. Sanchez starts the Saugerties inning with a runner on first. Battles back from being down 0-2. Up next is the number 9 hitter, Gabe Cavazzoni.
And, Nick, the last thing I will say while we're on the topic of my baseball career, when my knuckle curve did locate, it was pretty nasty, but it was probably a 1 in 10 chance of happening. Otherwise, straight over the backstop.
If you faced all 9 of these Stallion hitters one time through the order, what do you think you're doing?
Maybe we'll have to do a little bit of a challenge one of those days, talk to a few of these guys, see how many of the starting 9 I could punch out. Or just get out. I think punch out's a stretch.
Punch out might be a stretch, you're right. The 0-0 pitch to Cavazzoni is a ball up and away fastball. 1-0 count on the Seton Hall sophomore. Gifford winds and fires Cavazzoni way late on a fastball there.
And just what a way from Sanchez there to be down 0-2, work the count, and then get that leadoff walk. Could be massive here for the Stallions in a 3-3 game.
Gifford's 2-1 fastball is just inside ball 3. So now back-to-back batters to start his outing. Gifford goes to a 3-ball count on Stallion hitters. Gabe Gifford, the 5'10 left-hander. Fastball is a check swing, appeal.
And, Nick,
And there is no
think about
appeal.
this. We got Gabe versus Gabe right now out there.
Gabe squared, one may say, huh? 3-1 pitch to Cavazzoni, a fastball way late. So now that's interesting. He's been way late on fastballs twice. Gifford's missed on breaking balls a couple of times. It's got to be a fastball here.
You would think.
Sanchez on first after the walk, not going anywhere. Cavazzoni fouls one foul over to the right side, right around the Glens Falls bullpen. So we'll do it again, 3-2. Gabe Cavazzoni, thus far 1 for 8 in his PGCBL season for the Stallions. The 3-2, Cavazzoni is still late. 3 strikes, 3 fastballs, 3 extremely late swings from Cavazzoni. 1 out in the bottom of the 4th.
That's the 3rd strikeout for Cavazzoni now in his last 5 plate appearances, or 6, excuse me. You should have known there, the fastball was coming. It's what Gabe Gifford beat Cavazzoni with in the first 2 pitches to get the strike.
After Cavazzoni, the lineup rolls around. So Luis Rodriguez, the center fielder, is in the box, number 28 for Saugerties. So far, he's 0 for 1. He tried to do a drag bunt back in the first and was hit by a pitch in the second. Rodriguez behind in the count, 0-1. Rodriguez takes a fastball up and away, ball 1. Sanchez still on first after he reached base to start the inning after an 8-pitch walk. Rodriguez, though, Dan, we saw his speed back in the second inning, his 5th stolen base of the season.
And the Stallions already tonight have 4.
The 1-1 is a fastball inside on Rodriguez, 2-1. Almost hit there again after he was hit last game against Mohawk Valley.
they're up to 20 stolen bases now, Nick, on the year. And Sanchez probably not going to steal, but even to be at that mark, only 4 games in, is unprecedented, really.
Rodriguez swings and fouls a fastball back to the back of the backstop. 2-2 now on the center fielder. Rodriguez against Glens Falls just a couple of days ago had 2 hits and 4 at-bats. He also walked once, but had a pivotal defensive assist in the second inning, gunning down a Dragon runner at home plate. Gifford, after the foul ball, back on the mound. 2 strikes on Rodriguez. Set at the belt. Winds and fires. Fastball inside. 3-2 now on Rodriguez. So back-to-back batters. Gifford goes to a full count. Sanchez didn't go anywhere last time. Is he going anywhere this time, Dan?
Oh, we'll see, but just a way for these Stallion batters to work here. They've been working these counts.
Rodriguez swings and lines one into the right center gap. Cut off nicely by Strauss. Sanchez going for third. The throw from the second baseman Mutt is not in time. Sanchez goes first to third. Luis Rodriguez delivers the big hit. So all of a sudden now the Stallions are in business. Runners on the corners.
And Nick, I just want you to see the way that Luis Rodriguez strikes this ball, and you talked about it in the pregame show. This year, it is not a Stallions team that is hitting home runs every single at-bat. They are playing base-to-base baseball, and Luis Rodriguez is the definition of that, and you see it right here. And I bet you that he is going to take that bag right here on the very first pitch.
Not going anywhere there. The fastball from Gifford is up and away, ball 1. But if you're a Stallions fan, the right man is at the is at the dish. Nick Crosey, number 8, leads this team in RBIs with 6 thus far in the first 3 games.
Just the guy you want up in this situation. Stallions got burned with this, but when they have runners at the corners, they like to send the man at first over to second. They got doubled up last night. We'll see if it's the case here tonight.
The 1-1 to Crosey is a breaking ball, just misses the outside corner. 2-1 now on the Stallion third baseman. And Jones would like to speak with Gifford. Down in the count, 2-1. Nobody out, 1 out in the bottom of the 4th inning. Runners on the corners, Sanchez on third, Rodriguez on first. Sanchez reached by way of a walk to start the inning, followed by a strikeout of Cavazzoni, and then a Rodriguez single right down the right center field gap brings Crosey to the box ahead in the count, 2-1 for Saugerties. No action either in the Dragon bullpen, so this is Gifford all the way in the bottom of the 4th. After the conversation with Jones, Gifford's 2-1 is lined fouled straight back. 2-2 now on Crosey.
Crosey's got to work here. He's been an RBI machine this season, had one last night against the Diamond Dogs. Stallions need him to knock one in right here. This game is tighter than expected.
Gifford set at the belt. Rodriguez runs away from first. Crosey swings and misses, but Rodriguez takes second for his 2nd stolen base of the game and his 6th of the season already through the first 3 games.
Can we just rename the Stallions the Saugerties Steelers at this point? They're up to 21 stolen bags this season and 5 here tonight.
We got to speak with head coach Colin Martin. They're not doing any signs either. He has full faith in his guys to take the bag whenever they want, and it's paying off. Like you said, 21 steals through the first 3.5 games. Up next for the Stallions is the right fielder, number 7, Travis Hobbins-Siefken. He has 2 hits, though, already tonight. His average is now up to 500, 6 for 12 to go along with 3 RBIs, tied for the 2nd most on the team. Hobbins-Siefken's 1-0 pitch, is a fastball way behind, so the count back to even 1-1 with 2 outs here in the bottom of the 4th.
And Nick, in his last at-bat, he tasered that ball through the hole. Stallions need some hard contact once again to score a run.
The 1-1 pitch from Gifford is a fastball just low. He really wanted that one. 2-1 now on the Stallion right fielder. Through 4.5, The Dragons have out-hit the Stallions 6-4, but have also made 2 more errors, too, compared to the Stallions' 0. Gifford's 2-1 pitch is a fastball on the outer third that Haben-Siefken really wish he did not swing at. Count now back to even, 2 balls, 2 strikes on the right fielder.
And you could see it, he was just shaking his head right there. He knew that one was high and away out of the zone, but he has another shot to correct his error here in a 2-2 count.
After getting bumped up in the lineup from 4th yesterday, the 3rd today, Haben-Siefken, 2 balls, 2 strikes, takes ball 3. Count is now full at 3-2. But it's an interesting approach. With first base open, a walk to Haben-Siefken would not be the worst thing to bring up a guy in Barbero on deck, who has only had 1 hit, and his first game was last night.
I had a weak fly out over to third in foul territory last time up.
The full count pitch is a fastball swung on and missed. Strike 3 for Haben-Siefken, and Gifford escapes without allowing any runs in the bottom of the 4th. So when we come back, we're going to the top of the 5th. Stallions and Dragons knotted at 3 when we come back. Welcome back to the top of the 5th inning. I'm Nick Zuppi alongside Dan Shalom for the Dragons versus Stallions here at Cantine Memorial Field. What a sigh of relief for Dragons fans, though, last inning, Dan. Gifford gets out of it. Puts up a 0 in the bottom of the 4th after putting 2 runners in scoring position. Osmond back out on the mound for the Stallions, his 3rd inning out of the bullpen. 1-0 pitch is a ball in the dirt, 1-1. Top of the order now for the Dragons. Travis Stroh will lead things off for the Dragons. The 1-1 pitch from Osmond is a fastball low and away, ball 2.
And Nick, you mentioned it. Travis Haben-Siefken wanting that one back. He chased 2 high fastballs out of the zone when the Stallions had runners at 2nd and 3rd. Could have given Saugerties the lead.
Trying to do too much, swinging at pitches that even if he puts in play is not the worst thing. Stroh breaks his bat. Kaminsky fields and fires to first, out number 1 here in the top of the 5th inning for Osmond.
And Nick, I got to be honest with you here. If those 2 errors aren't on the board for Glens Falls, Saugerties would be trailing in this game. They got to be grateful right now that this one's a 3-3 ball game.
They are getting out-hit 6-4, so you're not wrong. Saugerties catching a little bit of a break here thus far through the first 5 and a 3rd innings. Up next for the Dragons is the DH today, Gino Savoca. He's 1 for 2 with a flyout and a single. That single took place back in the top of the 3rd. He also stole 2nd in that inning as well after reaching. First pitch from Osmond was a ball back to the backstop. 1-0 now on the DH. action in the Stallion bullpen. A lefty throwing up down there. The 1-0 is a big breaker. 1-1 now. The strike catches the zone. Savoca last game against the Stallions a couple days ago at Eastfield went 0 for 2 with a walk. So he has notched a hit against the Stallions this summer. The 1-1 is put in play, a loop to second. Cavazzoni makes the play. So 2 quick outs for Osmond after 2 innings where he's had to work to get those 6 outs.
No doubt. Definitely encouraging to see from him. He's created weak contact that stayed in the infield here through his first 2 hitters, and he's probably done after this inning, so it would be nice to see him get a 1-2-3 here in the top of the 5th.
Well, one of those guys who had that weak contact last time, but not this time, Diaz lines one to Cavazzoni, picks it up, and an errant throw back to first. But what I was going to say, Enrique Diaz last time, first and third, 1 out, popped it up. Stallions caught it, but lined that one off of Cavazzoni's glove for the single.
Yeah, we're going to take another look at this one. It seemed like it was in Cavazzoni's glove, and then it just fell out. Hopefully nothing comes of this for Osmond's sake, but one that Cavazzoni missed by an inch.
An inch right, Dan. Just about a couple inches on that one. Well, that'll bring up the cleanup hitter, Cody Mayer. First pitch fastball is a strike in there. Diaz on first was bouncing a little bit to try to get in Osmond's head. But Mayer, with a runner on first, this is not what the doctor ordered if you're Stallions fans.
No, not at all. He's been killing the Stallions. A 2-run home run up at Eastfield, a double here tonight, and he eventually came around to score to be the first run of this game for Glens Falls.
Diaz running away from first, but Mayer puts one in play. Cavazzoni and Haben-Siefken running in. Haben-Siefken makes the sliding catch to retire the Dragons. We're going to the bottom of the 5th. Stallions come in the bat. They've got 4, 5, 6, Barbero, Ford, and Kaminsky. When we come back from Cantide Memorial Field, stay with us. Welcome back to the bottom of the 5th inning. Dragons versus Stallions. Stallion pitcher Osmond throws up a 0 in the top half, bringing up the offense for Saugerties. It'll be Barbero, Ford, and Kaminsky to start the bottom of the 5th. But Dan, big inning if you're Osmond. Big morale boost at that. Finally puts up an inning where no runners reach scoring position.
Finally, and Osmond, too, really had no trouble. Sure, he gave up a hit there, but nothing comes of it. Time for the Stallions to attack, Nick. They've been kind of quiet here in the last 2 innings. Put on a little bit of pressure there in that 4th, but need to scratch one across soon.
In a tie game, they need one to give themselves the lead. Gifford out for his 2nd inning out of the bullpen. 0-0 pitch to Barbero, breaking ball up and away. The 1-0 pitch from Gifford is a fastball, catches the low part of the zone on the DH for Saugerties. Barbero played his college ball at Butler this past spring. The 1-1 is a breaking ball on the inside corner. Barbero didn't like that one, but nonetheless, it's a strike. 1-2 now.
Barbero in the transfer portal, available to be contacted through Packup.
Gifford's 1-2 pitch is a breaking ball. Now the count back to even 2-2. But before Butler, he played college ball at Siena, where he won All MAC Rookie of the Year. The 2-2 pitch is a fastball lined off the catcher back to the backstop. So 2-2, we'll do it again.
And that's why the Stallions are lucky to have him. He has a lot of pop in that bat. If he makes contact with one, it not only goes a long ways, it goes fast as well.
Barbero had 8 home runs this past spring for Butler in just 47 starts, 54 games he appeared in, but a couple of those he didn't have any ABs. He was more of a defensive replacement toward the back half of that game. 2-2 pitch from Gifford is in the dirt, ball 3. So Barbero, after being down 1-2, works his way back to 3-2. This is a theme we've been seeing for both Stallion pitchers and hitters thus far tonight. The payoff is a fastball, catches the low part of the zone, strike 3. Barbero goes down looking, and Aiden Gifford picks up his 3rd strikeout of the game.
And that one just froze Barbero. Not only his 3rd strikeout as well, Nick, 3rd strikeout in a row. So he's been on fire right now. And that one just catching the bottom part of the zone as we look at it there. Really could have gone either way, but Jeff Ramsdale, the home plate umpire, giving it to the Dragons.
Barbero certainly wanted it to be a ball because he would be on first base. But nonetheless, Justin Ford, the left fielder, number 55, steps into the box for the Stallions. Ford in this one is 0 for 1, reached on an E5 back in the first that knocked in 2 runs for the Stallions, and then in the the bottom of the 3rd, he reached by way of a walk, hits this one to first. Muller fields it cleanly, steps on the bag. So Gifford, like Osbin, erratic inning prior, follows it up with 2 clean outs to start.
Ever since that single by Luis Rodriguez, he's looked untouchable. 4 batters in a row that he's retired, and the last 3 before Ford, all strikeouts.
Up next at the dish with 2 outs is Casey Kaminsky, playing second base today. First pitch breaking ball there from Gifford. That's something we've been seeing a lot so far this inning. Gifford's using the breaking ball to get ahead of Stallion hitters. The 0-1 pitch is a fastball hit right around the right center field gap. On the run is Stroh. Mayer can't see it. It falls right into the gap. Kaminsky now will be on second for a double, his first extra base hit of the season. Errant throw from Stroh getting back in brings Diaz off the bag. But if you're a Dragons fan, just unfortunate turn of events. What looked like an easy out is now a double for Saugerties.
Yeah, and we look back at it. This one just gets lost in the lights. It happens sometime here at Cantine Field. But Stroh and Meyer were nowhere close to that ball. They had no idea it was even coming towards them off the bat.
From the Pac Hub broadcast booth, we saw Meyer just throw his arms up, almost as if he lost it in the lights. Like you said, he had no clue where the ball was. Nonetheless, the first baseman, Jack Painter, steps in the box for the Stallions. Big number 12 from Wofford, 6'2", 195.
And Comiskey gets credited with a double on that.
1-0, Gifford behind in the count. Checking on Kaminsky, winds and fires. Painter way late on a fastball, fouls it into the catcher Jones, his glove. 1-1 now on the first baseman. Painter has struggled thus far left on left. He's 0 for 4 when facing a lefty, but he's 2 for 5 when facing a righty. The 1-1 pitch is a fastball, catches the inside corner for strike 2. So after the, I don't want to call it misopportune, unfortunate double, the misplay, if you will, or the miss-see, if you will.
That's got to be an error in my book. But the Stallions will take it.
Gifford can get out of the inning with this one. 1-2 pitch is a fastball put in play to Diaz. Diaz can't handle it. Now gets a handle on it and throws it over to Muller at first base for the out. Diaz, a bobble, a toss-up, and a field and a throw. Sends the Stallions back out for defense in the top of the 6th. Score remaining at 3. We'll be right back with the Dragons coming to the dish.
about talking with Coach Ryan Dio. Ready? 3.
Welcome back to the top of the 6th inning here in Saugerties. 3-3 is your score, but we're joined by the third member of our crew, Henry Hipschman. He spoke with head coach for the Dragons, Ryan Dio, a couple moments ago. Henry?
Thanks, Nick. When I spoke to Coach Dio, he said his team looks good on defense, but they need to clean it up a little bit. On the offensive side, he said they're still missing the big hit with runners in scoring position. They're now 4 for 10 with runners in scoring position. And then finally, I asked him about pitcher Gabe Gifford while he struck out the side. He said he loves Gifford. Last year, he had trouble locating the strike zone, but he improved quickly.
And Henry, I don't know how much into the weeds you got with head coach Ryan Dio, but this is a squad that really struggled last season, but they seem like a much more comprehensive group. Just what's been his game plan through these first couple of games?
We didn't talk too much about his opinions on last year or even the game before this. He just wanted to focus on tonight's game. He said they're playing a lot cleaner, and they want to keep doing that.
Osbin's pitch is in the dirt ball, too. But Henry, Dan mentioned it. It's a team this year that seems rejuvenated. When you were speaking to him down at the dugout, did you get a sense of, energy that was around? Like the team morale was high? You're playing in a 3-3 game that can go either way?
Coach Dio's a young guy. Seems like he likes to keep a fun vibe amongst his dugout. They seem relaxed. They seem calm. They seem ready to go throughout the rest of this game.
2-0 fastball is fouled off by Jenks. 2-1 now. Well, we thank you, Henry, for coming along with us. Great interview from head coach Ryan Dio. Thank you very much for that. We appreciate everything you do for the Saugerties Stallions broadcast. This one is popped up into shallow right field. 3-man triangle. It falls in between them. Rodriguez picks it up. Kaminsky applies the tag. Not in time. Jenks with the double. Miscommunication. Bermuda triangle between Haben, Zifkin, Cavazzoni, and Rodriguez out there in right center.
I mean, Nick, that was just straight deja vu. It just happened to the Dragons on defense. This time the ball's in the same exact place. Rodriguez and Haben Siefkin don't see it, and this one just drops. And they nearly had Jenks at second, but Joe Lasapanera Sr. saying that he got under the tag over there at second base.
Nonetheless, it's the third leadoff batter that is reached against Osbin for the Stallions. Up next will be Tate Van Austin. He came in back in the second when Michael Sweeney injured his hamstring. Van Austin was moved to second, even though Sweeney started at short.
He grounded out over to second with the force last time he was up.
That one gets away a little bit from Sanchez. Outside, ball 2 on the Dragon second baseman.
Nick, time for the Stallions to really be sound defensively. Can't let anything up. And probably right now, I'm thinking about a bunt. Crosey's all the way back at third.
Pickoff play. Osbin spikes it. Kaminsky comes and scoops it up. That could have been disaster. You said playing clean baseball. That was almost dirty baseball.
Everyone just needs to settle down right now. It seems like the Stallions are moving just too fast, a step ahead right now of where their bodies are at. Just calm it down. Runner's still at second.
The 2-0 from Van Austin fouls it along the right side. Sanchez with a big run, not able to get it. Ball lands out of play. The count now moves to 2-1 in favor of Van Austin. Going back to that double to lead off the inning, Dan, it's almost a if you could do it, I could do it better kind of thing. The Stallions fortunate in the top half, now unfortunate in the bottom. Osbin's 2-1 is a breaking ball blocked nicely by Sanchez, preventing the runner at second, Jenks, to advance to third. 3-1, though, count on Van Austin.
And I don't think anybody wants to go into a back and forth of who could make a better error because those are two balls that just got lost in the lights.
The 3-1 pitch is ball 4, high and inside that one. So first and second for the Dragons after the Stallions are retired. 1, 2, 3, 4. One guy reached because of the double, like we said.
I really think that if things start to get ugly here, you could see a Dallas Hot Wieners called to the bullpen for Saugerties. They do have a lefty warming right now, Nick. And Van Osmond's gone 3 innings already, so it's kind of at that maximum line.
We thought he would get taken out last inning, but here he is out for his 4th. Bunt drops Falcon. It is foul. Croce picks it up foul, so that'll be strike 1. Almost a disaster, though, for the Stallions.
That one just stayed foul. Stallions were lucky. If that was fair, the bases would have been loaded with a nobody out.
Falcons got some quick speed, so if he can get this bunt down, could be looking at
Jenks is on second. Van Ouston is on first. Falcon at the dish. He is 0 for 2 with a ground out to second and a fly ball to left in the second and fourth, respectively. The corners are in. Croce at third. Another bunt. This one popped up to the first baseman, Painter, but he drops it. It's ruled a fair ball. Painter picks it up in foul territory, and it's just a nuclear disaster for the Stallions. That was a sure out. Everyone is safe. Painter drops it, and base is loaded for the Dragons.
And we just look back at this one. That's one that Painter has to have. And if not, let it drop foul. All the runners move up 90 feet, and now the Stallions are in a world of hurt as Colin Martin, the head coach for the Stallions, makes a point over to the bullpen.
So here comes the lefty coming in. So when we come back, bases loaded for the Dragons. 3-3 tie game. The Stallions need a miracle to get out of this one. Welcome back, folks, to the top of the 6th inning between the Dragons and the Stallions. Pitching change for Saugerties. Daniel Mocho in, the lefty wearing number 48. But more importantly, the bases are loaded for the Dragons. The inning started with a Jenks double, followed by a Van Ouston walk, and then a Falcon bunt that was popped up, but Painter dropped. Nonetheless, we have a pitching change. Daniel Mocho, like I said, coming in for Saugerties.
Yeah, and we look back at that play that made the bases loaded. Painter right on the foul line just falls out of his glove. A terrible bounce. And Osmond leaves this game 3 innings pitched with only the 2 runs given up. He is only responsible here for the runners at second and third. And, Nick, if you really think about this inning as a whole, the bases should not be loaded. The runner at third, Jenks, got a double off a ball that fell in right center field. And then right there, Painter drops it. And while the first one isn't scored as an error, it really is an error. And then Painter right there just falls out of his glove. And now the Stallions could be in a world of hurt.
You said it a couple moments ago. Stallions need to play clean defense like you were just describing. They have not. They've done the complete opposite. If you're Osmond, the pitcher who just got taken out, you got to be a little bit frustrated because they could have been out of this one, but there's still nobody out.
And the new pitcher, Daniel Mocho, on the mound, 4 1/3 innings pitched at Oswego this past season. Comes in with an ERA of 14.54 in those 4 1/3 innings. Let up 7 earned in that time. Stallions will bring the infield in here. They're going to go home on a ground ball.
What a brutal greeting for Mochio. First baseman Jackson Muller up at the dish for the Dragons, batting right-handed, playing first. First pitch is swung on and missed. Strike one from Mochio. Comes out of the bullpen, firing strikes.
Like you mentioned, it's his first appearance for the Stallions this season. His teammates with Matthew Drillings, though, from Oswego, who started this game.
Two Oswego guys, like you said, who just came into Saugerties today, got jersey numbers, and are ready to roll. Drillings with a very impressive start. It only lasted 2 innings, but he only gave up 1 earned run, so a quality start at that. Muller, though, thus far this game is 1 for 2. He had a single back in the 4th, and he also reached second by way of a wild pitch. The 0-1 from Mochio is lined foul, sawed off Muller to count now quickly 0-2 on the number 8 hitter in the Dragon lineup.
And Nick, you talk about getting welcomed to the Stallions. You couldn't get put in a more pressure-packed situation than this. The bases loaded with nobody out, but a pivotal pitch coming up to possibly get out number 1.
I would say waste pitch, but there's nowhere to put Muller. All the bases are occupied, so you don't need to do a waste pitch. Just go right after him. Mochio's 0-2 is a fastball fouled back behind the screen, so we'll do it again. 0-2, nobody out, bases juiced. The Dragons are smelling fire right now.
Looking for their first lead here of the ball game, and the Stallions hoping to not give that up because they have not trailed this season.
We were talking about Mochio, though, how this is his first game. Muller had his first hit back in the 4th inning and is looking for his first RBI thus far. The 0-2 is a swing and a miss from Muller. Huge strikeout from Mochio. Comes out of the pen and K's Muller on 4 pitches. A huge deep breath if you're head coach Colin Martin for Saugerties.
That not only puts it out on the board, now the Stallions can go back to playing double play defense, and with a ground ball to short or second, can get out of this inning unscathed.
Double play defense, like you said, but the corners are still in. Painter at first, Croce at third. So a hard ground ball to them. I'm thinking they're coming home to Sanchez to cut off the run. Up next for the Dragons is the catcher, Ryan Jones. He's 1 for 2 in this one. Had a single back in the 3rd and scored one of the 3 runs for the Dragons. First pitch from Mochio is swung and missed. Strike 1. So Mochio comes out of the pen. He's thrown 5 pitches, but they've all been strikes.
Can't ask for much more, can you? Local guy, too, from Warwick.
Jenks on 3rd, Van Ouston on 2nd, Falcon over at 1st with Jones at the dish. The 0-1 is put in play, chopped. Sanchez fields it foul. So Mochio ahead on 2 back-to-back hitters, 0-2, after Van Ouston, Osborne loaded the bases with nobody out.
And it really wasn't Osborne's fault. If we go back to it, the fielding has been sloppy for the Stallions here in the top of the 6th. But you're 1 pitch away from putting 2 outs on the board here.
Danny Mochio had a season-high 2 strikeout performance at SUNY Canton back on May 2nd. Looking for his 2nd of the game right here. The 0-2 is a changeup. Swung on and missed. Strike 3. Jones can't make contact, and back-to-back strikeouts from Mochio. Now the Stallions can take a real big deep breath as the infield will move back with 2 outs and the number 10 hitter coming to the dish.
And you can kind of feel this whole top half of the 6th slipping away from the Dragons now. They still have a shot here with the bases loaded, but Mochio has made things a lot more comfortable from a Stallions perspective.
Runner off 3rd. Mochio steps off, throws home, and it is safe. Sanchez's throw to 3rd is not in time. What a heads-up play from Trent Jenks. The lefty can't see him at 3rd. He breaks for home and gives the Dragons the lead 4-3. But also the heads-up play from Van Ouston advances to 3rd on the throw home from Mochio. If you're the Stallions, you get 2 outs with bases loaded, and then just a backbreaker right there from the Dragon base running.
Nick, I think that's the last thing you're expecting in this scenario. Bases loaded with 2 outs to steal home. What an aggressive play, and another runner going over here to 2nd.
Mochio chasing over, and there is no play.
Everything going wrong here for the Stallions. I mean, what are you doing there?
Falcon reaches second after Mochio steps off. He was staring right at Falcon.
Mochio's a lefty. It's not like he's a righty. He's looking right at Falcon, and Falcon walked over to second right in front of him. Poor lack of awareness here from the Stallions in the top of the sixth.
Cavazzoni was also at the base, so it's not like nobody was there, and Mochio would have thrown it into center field. They had the out in the bag. Nonetheless, a run was scored, and a pitch was not even thrown. So it's 1-0 now on the number 10 hitter, Christian Moat. What a base-running fiasco it's been in the past 2 or 3 minutes.
So hard to lock back in right now after the steal hold and the one over to second.
1-0 on the Dragons' second baseman. Mochio's fastball is up and away for ball 2. I don't even know how to comprehend that.
And Mochio just dropped the ball on the throwback. You can clearly tell that he's not completely thinking about the at-bat right now. And how could you after the steal home and the runner over to second? Just a brutal roll here after getting the first 2 outs.
Mochio ready, winds and fires. The 2-0 is a fastball, just misses. Now 3-0 on Christian Moat. He singled back in the third, like we said a few moments ago. I don't know whether to compliment the Dragons' base running or put a knock on the Stallions' defense, because the heads-up play to steal home, Jenks knows Mochio is not looking at him. He just grabbed the Dragons a run and the
another
lead.
One right
Here comes another one. Mochio steps off. Sanchez puts the tag on him in time. Oh, man. Heads-up base running no more. Gun down at the plate is Van Ouston. Mochio steps off and guns him at the plate. But nonetheless, Jenks steals home with 2 outs, gives the Dragons the lead 4-3 going to the bottom of the 6th. Stallions coming to bat with the number 8 hitter, Logan Sanchez, due up first from Cantine Memorial Field when we come back.
Yeah, stop it.
Welcome back to the bottom of the 6th. Stallions now down 4-3 coming up to the dish. But Dan, what an eventful inning we had in the top half. 2 steals of home. Jenks gives the Dragons the lead. What just happened?
I'm still catching my breath from what just went on, Nick. I mean, they had the bases loaded. Nobody was out. You thought it was a prime opportunity to dump on Daniel Mochio, who was making his first appearance for the Stallions. Then he puts up 2 strikeouts in 2 0-2 counts, which is all you could ask for from your reliever. And then the Dragons decide to steal home with Trent Jenks and then test their luck once again. Second time around, not as lucky. But that was some crazy baseball we just saw on the
They also had a stolen base from Falcon, who, as a left-handed pitcher, Mochio was looking dead on, and Falcon took off anyway. He made it to safely to second without a throw. And there was also guys at second. So Mochio just held off, The 3-0 pitch to Sanchez is a walk. So Sanchez starts starts the third and now the fifth with a leadoff walk, bringing up Gabe Cavazzoni with the Stallions trailing 4-3 in the bottom of the sixth.
That was just an ugly inning from the Stallions. You have to wipe that away, starting from the drop ball in right center field, then the drop ball by Painter, and then after that, the steals, which just need to be better.
Cavazzoni squares the bunt. The first baseman, Muller, picks it up and tags him out. But a productive out nonetheless. Sack bunt advances Sanchez to second. With the top of the order coming around, Luis Rodriguez stepping up to the box.
And now trailing to the Dragons, Nick, it's time to play fundamental baseball. It's been the brand that the Stallions have gone to all season long so far. You need Luis Rodriguez to hit another hot single, which he had in the bottom of the fourth.
Rodriguez, in addition to that hot single, he has 2 steals. But we have a mound visit, more importantly, for the Dragons from their pitching coach, with Rodriguez due up next. But, Dan, going back to the top half, I don't think I still can't process what happened in that inning.
Just from the start of the inning, it was messy. You look back at the official scoring, and, Nick, that inning felt like an hour, and it was only 5 batters. At the end of the day, only 1 earned run given up, 1 error, 2 left on base with 1 hit. But that was definitely not what you would have thought if you're just looking at the box score.
I mean, without the Stallions throwing a pitch, the Dragons stole a base, and they also stole another base and scored off of it.
And then got caught stealing.
Nonetheless, after the mound visit, Rodriguez steps into the dish, facing Gifford. Rodriguez singled off of him back in the 4th inning, like Dan said prior to the mound visit. But Rodriguez thus far is 1 for 2. He tried to bunt back in the 1st inning. Behind in the count, 1-0.
And you can see that Diaz is playing in on the corner. He doesn't want to give anything to Rodriguez bunt-wise.
The 1-0 pitch is a fastball where Rodriguez takes a huge cut. He was looking to hit the pavilion in center field with that one. He certainly has the power to do so. He's hit 10 home runs in 2 seasons at Marist.
Swinging out of his shoes right there.
The 1-1, Gabe Gifford, the lefty, still on the mound, his 3rd inning of work out of the bullpen. The 1-1 pitch is lined from Rodriguez into the left field center gap. Here's the left fielder, Falcon, fielding it. Sanchez scores standing up. Rodriguez is on second standing up. His 2nd of the game, his 1st RBI. Sanchez scores to tie the game at 4. Luis Rodriguez, finally, 4th extra base hit of the season thus far for the Stallions. Someone hits the second base after a ball put in play.
And needed that one. And we're probably going to see a pitching change coming here for Glens Falls. But before we talk about that, just the replay. Very similar to Rodriguez's last hit with the single. Doesn't try and do too much. Just shoots one into the gap. And it's enough to tie this game at 4 when the Stallions desperately needed a run.
Nonetheless, we have a Dallas Hot Wieners call to the bullpen for the Glens Falls Dragons. Righty coming in relief of Gabe Gifford, with Luis Rodriguez on second and Nick Croce coming up to the dish when we come back. Yep. Dallas Hot Wieners call to the bullpen. Cameron Biller, the right-hander in relief of Gabe Gifford. You could close the book on him, but that is his runner on second, Rodriguez. 2 1/3, 3 hits, 1 earned for now. If Rodriguez comes around to score, like I said, that will be 2. 2 walks to go along with it. Cameron Biller now in relief facing Nick Croce, the Stallion third baseman. First pitch is a fastball up and away for ball 1. Cameron Biller, big guy, 6'4", but not hefty, 190 on the skinnier side. Just completed his freshman year at Mount St. Mary's. But he's a two-way player, more importantly. Played against the Stallions earlier this year. We went 0 for 3. Rodriguez taking off for third, gets behind the catcher. And Rodriguez with his 3rd stolen base of the game. 7th in the first 3 games already.
He's a speed monster out there, Nick. Absolutely nobody can stop him. I wonder now if the Stallions serve the Dragons a taste of their own medicine with the steal at home.
The Dragons now bring the infield in, trying to cut off the go-ahead run at third of Rodriguez after the steal/pass ball. Biller behind Croce 2-0 with 1 out. The pitch is a fastball on the outside corner for a strike. Croce didn't like that one, but nonetheless it's a strike on the outside corner.
And just a little bit more about Biller, a high school ERA of 2.30. He's a two-way player. Last game against Boonville yesterday actually went 0 for 4, so he was hitting and now on the mound here tonight.
Wearing eye black, the 2-1 is a fastball cut on and missed 2-2. But like Rodriguez, the previous at-bat, Croce looking to go dead center, hit the pavilion, break some glass out there in deep center field.
Just need to put this ball in play. Anything hard will score the run.
2-2, Biller in relief of Gifford. Rodriguez on third after the RBI double scored Sanchez. The 2-2 pitch is a fastball on the outside corner, just misses. The Dragon dugout wanted that one, but nonetheless, it's going to be a full count coming.
Jeff Ramsdale, the home plate umpire, not budging on that one.
3 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out, 4-4. Hits are 8-6 in favor of the Dragons. The full count pitch is a ball. Croce reaches first, bringing the 3-hole hitter Travis Hobbins-Siefkin to the dish with runners on the corners.
This isn't that bad for Hobbins-Siefkin to reset here, right? He has 2 singles in this game, and in those first 2 at-bats was just trying to make contact and not kill the ball. Last time in that 4th inning was swinging out of his shoes, chased 2 high fastballs, and ended up going down on strikes.
Prior to that strikeout, though, he does have 2 hits where he also stole a base tonight. Saugerties Stallions, like you said earlier. I like that nickname for them. Biller set at the belt. Now Croce runs over at first. Fake throw from the catcher, Jones. Croce's in there without a throw. So already the 6th stolen base for the Stallions tonight.
It's unreal, Nick. At this point, they're averaging above 5 steals a game. And why not?
Biller will now go out of the windup with Croce on second and Rodriguez on third. The 1-0 is a fastball back to the backstop, but catches a great break for the Dragons off the padding. Comes right back to the catcher, Jones, and Rodriguez has no choice but to hold at third.
And if the Stallions were playing at Mohawk Valley like last night, Rodriguez would have 100% come home. The difference here is that back wall is padded, so anything with high velocity kicks right back to home plate.
Hobbins-Siefkin will be intentionally walked down 2-0 to load the bases for Danny Barbaro, DHing tonight. He's 0 for 2 with a walk, fly out, pop out to third base, back in the third, and a strikeout last inning in the bottom of the 5th.
I really don't know how to feel about that. I understand you want to set up the double play, but it's not like Barbaro is a guy who can't muster the ball.
Barbaro takes first pitch fastball for strike 1. The corners are in. Muller at first, Diaz at third, so a hard ground ball to them. I'm thinking they're coming home to gun down Rodriguez. But it's got to be quick because Rodriguez, he has 3 steals tonight. He's got unreal speed. Biller's 0-1 is a changeup down low. 1-1 now on Barbaro.
And this is a guy who had 8 home runs and 30 RBIs, Nick. He's going to hurt you just as much as Hobbins-Siefkin would.
And he only had 32 strikeouts, so all they really need is a ball put in play.
Or a walk. That also works.
Billers wind up and the pitch lined hard to the shortstop. Van Ouston bobbles it, now eats it. Run coming in for the Stallions. Rodriguez scores on the E6. Everyone advances a base to base baseball, and the Stallions take the lead as a result.
That's been the problem for Glens Falls all day long. Already 2 errors on the board. That should be number 3. Stallions cash in once again. That's now 3 runs they've scored off of Glens Falls errors.
The Dragons playing double play depth. That was a tailor-made double play. Barbero, not the fastest guy, would have been an easy 2. Nonetheless, Ford lines one down the left field line for a base hit. Here comes Croce to score. Hubin Siefkin will score. Falcon finally picks it up, and Ford is into second base with a stand-up double. Justin Ford giving some Nacarado insurance runs. 7-4 Stallions over the Dragons.
And Justin Ford going back to his prototypical swing, just what we saw all of last year from him. Tasers one down the third baseline. Enrique Diaz with absolutely no chance to grab it. He just slaps it down there, and the Stallions make the Glens Falls Dragons pay for those errors. Just what they wanted. They put up 4 here in this bottom of the 6th now.
Now it's Kaminsky at the dish for the Stallions, takes ball 1 outside from Biller. But Ford last year in the PCGBL, he played for the Stallions as we've been saying. He played here at Cantine against these Dragons 4 times, and he had 4 RBIs in those games. So another guy who likes to hit here against Cantine against the Dragons. The high fastball there, outside ball 2 from Biller. Action already in the Dragon bullpen. Manager Ryan Dio waving his hat, signaling down there, let's get it going. The 2-0 from Biller is a pitch in the dirt, ball 3 on Kaminsky. Kaminsky thus far is 1 for 2. He was the one in the bottom of the 5th where he had that double that landed in no man's land between Stroh and Meyer. Kaminsky takes ball 4, the intentional walk right there, loads the bases for the first baseman, Jack Painter. Painter playing first today, a mound visit from Jones and the first baseman, Muller. Action still going over in that Dragon bullpen. Painter now with a golden opportunity here to add some Nacarado insurance runs and break this game wide open for the Stallions.
And they've already blown it wide open, but why not add more? The bases are still loaded here, Nick.
With only 1 out, Biller now will go out of the stretch. Hit the first pitch to Painter is a fastball up and away, ball 1. But if you're the Stallions, you got to be happy. You're finally seeing some exit velocity from these hitters. Ball put into the gaps. These bases are being run. Crooked numbers up on the scoreboard. But with that being said, we'll have another pitching change. A Dallas Hot Wieners call to the bullpen. They're bringing in a righty, Cameron Biller, unable to get an out in his outing tonight. We'll come right back with Jack Painter facing the new arm out of the bullpen with the bases loaded and the Stallions ahead 7-4.
Welcome back to Cantine Memorial Field. Stallions ahead 7-4 over the Glens Falls Dragons, but first baseman Jack Painter is in the box with the bases juiced, even though the Stallions have already scored 4 runs in this inning. Dallas Hot Wieners call to the bullpen for the Dragons. Jeremy Graham, 6', 180, out on the mound in relief of Biller. First pitch gets by the catcher Jones. Barbero doesn't go anywhere on third. Jeremy Graham just completed his freshman year at Hudson Valley Community College just a couple months ago.
Rocky Point native, now the rising sophomore, did pitch against the Stallions in the opener, tossed 2 innings of 1 earned run ball, did give up 3 though, with 3 walks and 3 strikeouts.
Graham's 1-0 pitch is a fastball inside, now 2-0 on Painter. Excuse me, 3-0. Biller left with the count 1-0, so now it's 3-0 on Painter. Graham in a jam. The 3-0 pitch to Painter is a fastball right down the middle, takes strike 1. Painter ended the bottom of the 5th last inning with a ground out to third. He also had a single back in the 2nd and a ground out to second base back in the 3rd. 1 for 3 is his line with a stolen base. He also scored the only run in the 2nd inning. The 3-1 pitch from Graham is ball 4 in the dirt. The walkman walks again. Stallions add another one. 8-4 now the score as Barbero touches home plate on the base on balls. Logan Sanchez now to the dish for the 2nd time this inning. Sanchez walked to start this 5-run onslaught from the Stallions. Cavazzoni advanced him onto second with a sac bunt, is the only out of this inning.
Things getting out of hand quickly.
Sanchez takes the fastball on the outside corner, strike 1. Ford is on third after his 2 RBI double from the Stallion left fielder. Kaminsky is on second, and now Painter is on first. Graham's 1-0-1 pitch is a breaking ball, The appeal to the other umpire, there is no appeal, so he held up. 1-1 is the count on Sanchez. The backstop today is 0 for 1. He has 2 walks and scored a run to start this bottom of the 6th. Sanchez takes it in the dirt, 2-1. Nice stop by Jones. But if you're Logan Sanchez, a hit here would make it out of reach, no, Dan?
Definitely. I think it's already out of reach, Nick. I mean, they've doubled up Glens Falls here in this bottom of the 6th, and there's still plenty of traffic.
Sanchez, the yellow bat, the yellow arm sleeves, the yellow cleats, the highlighter. The 2-1 pitch is a breaking ball, just low. 3-1 now the count. So Graham comes in relief of Biller and has trouble finding the strike zone.
Biller left the game without even getting an out.
The two-way player, like you said, didn't get an out, gave up only 1 hit, a couple of walks. Sanchez fouls off the 3-1 way off to the right. So counts full, 3 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out, bases juiced, and now we have more action in the Dragon bullpen. 2 righties throwing down there.
Wonder how long of a leash they'll give Graham here.
Logan Sanchez, 3 RBIs on the season, can make it 5 with a base hit. The 3-2 pitch to Sanchez is a breaking ball. Late punch out from the umpire, but Sanchez goes down looking nonetheless. Huge strikeout from Graham. Cavazzoni now coming to the dish with the bases juiced and 2 outs, more importantly, for the Dragons.
And I feel like you got to swing there. You know it's 3-2. The bases are loaded. You're up by 4. At least put the ball in play. Don't get frozen.
Cavazzoni now to the dish. Last game against the Diamond Dogs, 0 for 4, 2 strikeouts, including in the top of the 10th. He struck out when the go-ahead run was on third, and there was only 1 out. The first pitch to the Seton Hall product is up and away, ball 1. Huge strikeout from Jeremy Graham on Sanchez right there.
Needed that one. Glens Falls just needed to see an out to stop the bleeding.
The 6-foot, 180 build on the mound. Graham's 1-0 pitch is high, ball 2. It looked like a take all the way from Calvizzoni, no matter where that pitch was. Graham does have strikeout prowess. Just a couple of days ago when these two teams played over at East Field, he did strike out 3 in 2 innings. So Ryan Dio, plenty of faith to get the strikeout, and he did. 2-0 pitch is up and away, ball 3 now on Calvizzoni, the number 9 hitter in the Stallion lineup.
Should be a take sign here, but at the same time, I wouldn't hate swinging at 3-0, bases loaded, down by 4.
Infield.
Or up by 4, excuse me.
Infield all the way back. Diaz at third, guarding the line, as well as Muller at first. The 3-0 is a fastball on the inside corner, strike 1 on Calvizzoni. This past college season, he had 6 RBIs in 22 games, 18 starts this year. Batted 167, 10 for 60. 3-1 from Graham is inside, ball 4. Calvizzoni walks, and the Stallions add another Nacarado insurance run, 9-4, when Ford touches home plate.
Rodriguez back up once again. He's got a lot of pop and was really the one that sparked this with the RBI double, which brought home Sanchez here in the bottom of the 6th.
Rodriguez's full game has been on display today. Power with the double. First pitch to him is a strike on the outside corner. 3 steals. A drag bunt attempt where to show off that speed once more. He's contact to get the bunt in play. Rodriguez, a do-it-all guy for Saugerties.
Without a doubt.
Behind in the count, 0-1. Graham ready. Base is still juiced. The 0-1 pitch is a fastball to the backstop. Another great bounce off the padding. Keeps the runner at third. That would be Kaminsky now reaches third after he walked a couple batters ago.
You can see it right there. Graham does not have much control out there on the mound. If I'm Rodriguez, I'm not swinging at anything unless it's dead down the middle.
Rodriguez this season does not have an RBI. Great opportunity to notch number 1 this summer. The 1-1 is a check swing, fastball on the outside corner, strike 2. Rodriguez, little discussion with home plate umpire Jeff Reemsdack right there. Still 1-2 though on the center fielder. Jeremy Graham has a chance to get out of it with a strike right here. 1-2, 2 outs. Rodriguez fouls one off right behind the catcher out of play. 1-2, we'll do it again.
Early on the breaking ball, he wanted that one there, but just didn't time it up. 1-2 count, got to go to work here.
Despite being ahead 9-4, the Stallions still have fewer hits. The Dragons have 8, Saugerties had 7. Base is still loaded. Kaminsky at third, Painter at second, Calvizzoni over at first. Rodriguez at the box. Graham steps off, adjusts his hat, and will take a second to recollect himself before the 1-2 pitch. Jeremy Graham making his PGCBL debut. The 1-2 is a changeup way upstairs for ball 2. Catcher Jones telling him to calm down a little bit.
Just like I was telling you, Nick, Graham having a lot of trouble with that control right now, especially with the off speed.
2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. 6 runs already scored this inning. Rodriguez currently batting for the 2nd time this inning. Graham's 2-2 is a fastball on the outside corner, just misses. Graham, the pitcher, Muller, the first baseman, Diaz, the third baseman, they all thought that was strike 3 and were walking toward the dugout. But it'll be a full count nonetheless on Rodriguez. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Bases juiced. They'll all be moving on the pitch. Rodriguez doubled earlier. The 3-2 is a fastball. Swung on and missed. Strike 3. Huge strikeout from Jeremy Graham to keep this game relatively close. The Stallions put up a 6 spot in the bottom of the 6th. 12 hitters come to the dish. 4 hits, including the big one from Justin Ford, the 2 RBI double. Pitching change to start the top of the 7th, and commentator change. Dan Shalom will have you for the top of the 7th when we come back from Canton Memorial Field.
All right. You want to welcome us back? Okay, ready? Yep. Welcome back to Saugerties. Dan Shalom with you alongside Nick Zuppi, and we're going to send it down to the third man of our crew, Henry Hipschmidt.
Here with assistant coach Ron Kelder. Coach, they took the lead there in the top of the 6th inning, turn around, score 6 runs in the bottom half of the inning. How resilient is this team?
Well, a little ugly baseball there to let them score a couple runs, but then we got it going, got a couple hits. They got a little wild and stay aggressive and score more runs.
Now you got a pretty comfortable lead now, but 3 innings left of baseball. What can you do to protect this?
Keep scoring runs.
Great. Thanks, Coach. Back to you guys in the booth.
Always great to hear Henry's insight along with assistant coach. Dragons trying to make up for some of those runs. A leadoff single here to start things in the top half of the 7th from Christian Moat. And the lineup will flip over to Travis Stroh. But, Nick, I'm still thinking about that onslaught by the Stallions there in the top or in the bottom half of the 6th. 6 runs, and a lot of them were self-inflicted wounds being walks by the Glens Falls pitching staff.
But also 2 extra base hits. It was one of my keys to the game beforehand. Drive the baseball. Ford drove it down the left field line. Rodriguez into the left center field gap. 2 extra base hits from 2 guys that have just been absolutely raking this summer.
Daniel Mochio out there for his 2nd inning of work, gives a check over at first on Moat. Mochio was thrown into this game with the bases loaded and nobody out in the top half of the 6th, and then maneuvered his way to get back-to-back punch-outs before the Glens Falls Dragons stole home twice, the first one being successful and the second one ending the inning. Cut on and missed there by Stroh. It's a 1-1 count.
Like Heath last game against Mohawk Valley, runner on third, nobody out. He was 1 strike away from getting out of the inning before he gave up the walk-off. Mochio, same thing. Bases loaded, nobody out, gets 2 back-to-back strikeouts, and then the self-inflicted wounds when Jake's still home.
That one finds the zone for strike 2. And Mochio is doing a great job, Nick, in that pressure cooker situation before that base running madness there in the top of the 6th.
Stallions pitcher has pitchers as a whole have been doing very well as well with runners in scoring position. Last game they held Mohawk Valley to 2 for 11 with runners in scoring position. So as a whole, Stallions pitchers working efficiently with runners on base.
Stroh is 0 for 3 today. Trying to respond after the Stallions' 6-run sixth. That one misses away, and the count goes full. Dragons today do have 3 walks, one of those being an RBI walk with the bases loaded in the top of the third. They scored 2 in that top of the third and did have the lead last inning. Mochio gets Stroh swinging, and there's one down here in the top of the 7th.
Big out for Mochio after the offensive explosion in the bottom half. Coming out in the top of the 7th, gets an out, takes a deep breath, gathers himself, and looks to maneuver against the rest of these Dragon
He's
hitters.
K'd the last 3 of 4 batters that he's faced. Gino Savoca, the DH, to the dish. 1 for 3, a single in the third. Off-speed misses away for ball 1.
Action, though, in both bullpens. For the Dragons, it's a right-hander, and for the Stallions, 2 right-handers warming in both bullpens.
And excuse me, Nick, Joe Carpierres is the pinch hitter here for Savoca, so he is out of this game. It's a 2-0 count here to Carpierres.
Faced off against the Stallions back in the season opener, went 0 for 3. The 2-0 is inside.
That one finds the zone. Carpierres did play against the Stallions, that being a few days ago, 0 for 3 in that one, looking to make an impact and just get the Dragons back into this game. It's been a fall from grace for them. We're so competitive through 5.5 innings, and then the Stallions just put up a 6 spot in the bottom of the 6th. Allen misses down low, 3-1.
I thought we were headed to another 1-run game toward the back half of the game, right? Last night against Mohawk Valley, it was a run game pretty much the entire time outside of the top of the 4th when the Stallions scored 2 and made it 3-1. But outside of that, it was a one-run game. And here tonight, it was tied or a 1-run game the whole way through, except for the 6-run onslaught last inning.
Swung on and missed there by Carpierres, and now Mochio is a strike away from back-to-back Ks after giving up the leadoff single to Moat. The payoff pitch fouled off to the right side. And Nick, I'll be honest here, Mochio has been great so far for the Stallions. I mean, really couldn't ask for much more. K, single, K, and now has a chance at a double play or a strikeout.
He's been phenomenal. I mean, he's using the fastball to really catch these Dragon hitters in between.
Misses away. First walk issued by Mochio. And there's runners now at first and second with 1 out here in the top of the 7th. Enrique Diaz next to the plate. Last time up, he singled. That was a 2-out single. Cody Meyer would go on to fly out to right field to end the inning.
That single back in the 5th inning actually knocked the glove off of Cavazzoni. Tried to pick it up and fire, but not in time to get Diaz over at first.
Glens Falls has had the bases loaded twice in this game, has only mustered 3 runs from that. On the cusp of having another situation where there's ducks on the pond. And now the Stallions are going to want to talk things over. Just giving Mochio a little bit of time to reset. There is an arm warming in the Saugerties bullpen, but head coach Colin Martin is not out.
I think this is just an opportunity to calm down Mochio. You're telling them we're up by 5. No need to waste pitches. No need to try to make the perfect pitch. If they hit themselves back into this game, fine. But you should not give them easy outs, easy ways to get on base, similar to how the Stallions have been using the walk and the hit by pitch to score runs this season.
And I think the thing that tripped him up last time was those steals that he really wasn't in control of. The last thing you need to worry about now here in a 5-run game is the runners. Here's the pitch. A big cut and a miss right there from Diaz. He was trying to get all 5 runs back in one swing.
And that's the thing. Grand Slam is only 4.
And a 3-run home run only gets you to 9-7. A power swing, and after that one, Diaz pulling at that right knee.
We already saw another Dragon have to leave the game due to injury. Shortstop Michael Sweeney, who was originally batting 6th, got replaced by Tate Van Ouston, who then moved to second with Christian Moat, who started at second, now playing shortstop ever since the second inning.
And Sweeney was the best hitter for this team coming into this game. That one just misses low in the zone. Mochio wanted that one, but the count will go to 2-2. Diaz does not have a run batted in against the Stallions just yet this year. Had one last night at Boonville. Was 1 for 4 with a strikeout. 2-2. This one's poked out into center field. Rodriguez is under it. There will be no tag, and there's 2 down here in the top of the 7th.
Looks like the mound visit worked right there for the Stallions. Mochio, after the mound visit, forces some weak contact from Diaz. Lazy fly ball to center field.
After tonight, the Stallions will travel up to Boonville to face the Lumberjacks tomorrow. That one scheduled for a 6:45 p.m. start from the Robert Smith Sports Complex. We'll be live with you here with the Archtop Fiber pregame show at 6:30. Cody Meyer back into the box. Flew out over to right field in the 5th. And Nick, interestingly enough, the Oneonta Outlaws pouring it on the Utica Blue Sox 11-2 out there at Damaski Field. And that's a Blue Sox team who hasn't lost this season heading into that game and against an Oneonta team who hasn't won a game in league play just yet.
If you remember in the pregame show, I said Oneonta, look out. They're a team that I think will climb up the standings by season end. Look at that, proving me right.
Amsterdam with the off day today along with Boonville. Both those teams in action tomorrow. Mohawk Valley also not playing tonight. Oneonta will travel to Mohawk Valley. Amsterdam visiting Utica tomorrow. Dragons will have the day off. Meyer flies this one out to Hoban Seifkin. He's going to play it on a hop. No throw home, and the bases are loaded. For the 3rd time in this game, there are ducks on the pond for the Dragons.
Not the hardest of hit right there from Meyer, but gets the job done nonetheless. Base-to-base baseball loads the bases for Trent Jenks.
Jenks not really the guy that you want to face in this situation. Has an RBI today, that being a walk in the 3rd. And then had a double, which the Stallions just lost the ball in the sky last time in the 6th. Would eventually come around to score. Dragons with a chance to get themselves back into this game. Mochio having to face the bases loaded for back-to-back innings. First pitch there is fouled back for strike 1.
And Jenks was the one 2 innings ago that stole home on Mochio. So I wonder if the revenge factor plays a part for Mochio trying to retire the one guy who did come around to score in Mochio's outing so far.
Could definitely be the case. Van Alstyne is on deck. He's the one that got nabbed at home to end the top of the 6th. That one's cue-balled, almost took out the Glens Falls first base coach. He had to get down on a dime.
Happy feet on that one. He quickly got down, shuffled those feet, and dropped to the ground.
So now an 0-2 count for Mochio. In this outing, already has 3 strikeouts, is looking to put the K on Trent Jenks, who's already struck out in this game, that being in the top of the 2nd. Mochio comes set. Deals. Misses high and away. No reason to throw anything competitive there.
Not even close. Like you said, fastball way out of the zone. Sanchez had to come out of his squat to nab that one.
On third. Carpier's on second. Meyer on first. It's a 1-2 count to Trent Jenks.
The bases are loaded full of dragons. Moat at third. Carpiers at second. Meyer at first. Jenks at the dish. The 1-2. This one's hit Haben Seifkin's way. That one is going to get down. 1 run is scored. They will stop the runner at third, and it's a 9-5 game. Tying run to the plate. Carpiers was rounding third, but then Ryan Dio, the head coach, decided to put the stop sign up. It gives now Tate Van Alstyne a chance to tie up this game. Was 1 for 4 last night with a walk against Boonville. Fouls this one back for strike 1.
To the right-hand side. Van Alstyne came in the 2nd inning after it looked like
And
Michael Sweeney.
Nick, you draw back on the fact that Michael Sweeney could still be in this game. This is now the 2nd scenario where they would have loved to have him in the lineup.
He had 4 hits in his last 4 at-bats, including a rocket double. That was nearly a home run to dead center field tonight.
And he left after that, pulling at his right leg, and we hope all is okay with him. But going into that at-bat, was batting over .550. Tying run is at the dish. Mochio trying to work out of the jam. This one's flared to the right side, heading foul. Painter giving it some chase. And it will drop in foul territory, so the count goes to 1-2. Nick, this has been a long game. We're approaching 10 o'clock here in Saugerties, and this one's been going on since 7, and we're only in the top of the 7th.
Long way to go still. Like you said, 2.5 innings still to go. But there's been more than 5 innings where a team has scored. So even though it's been a long one, it's been an eventful one.
Last night's game clocked in at 3 hours, 11 minutes with extras up at Mohawk Valley. This one definitely going to push past it. Mochio deals. High and away, and that Mochio again has these hitters in the leverage counts, but then is struggling for the knockout punch.
He's been through the lineup once already. They're picking up his fastball, which has been his put-away pitch thus far. Dragon hitters, they've seen it already, like I've said.
Mochio shakes off his sign. 2-2, bases loaded, 2 outs, top of the 7th. And I'll tell you one thing here, Nick. Tate Van Alstyne is putting together a fight.
He wants to do everything he can to pass the baton. The Dragons have played base-to-base baseball so far. 2 hits, scoring only 2 runs with the bases loaded. Van Alstyne doing everything he can to give it to Chase Falcon, who's on deck.
This time he gets the K. A pivotal one. Mochio gets out of the jam, only lets 1 run come across. It's time to stretch here at Cantine Field. Stallions leading 9-5. Welcome back to Saugerties. Bottom of the 7th. Stallions leading 9-5. Dragons getting one back in the top half of the 7th, but stranding 3 with the bases loaded. So with the ball game standing at 9-5, Nick Croce will start things off here in the top of the 7th. That one skims off the knob. Bottom of the 7th, excuse me. Croce, the third baseman, so far tonight. An 0 for 3 mark, but did walk in his last at-bat in the 6th. Stallions had 12 batters come to the plate in the bottom of the 6th and scored 6 runs. And Nick, the new arm on the mound for Glens Falls is Jaden Hughes.
Just completed his sophomore year at Hudson Valley Community College. 6 foot 200 out on the mound.
Yeah, and with Hudson Valley Community College, 18 appearances, 11 starts, an ERA of 3.69 over 53 2/3 innings pitched. That one's in there for strike 2.
So unlike a couple of pitchers we've seen tonight, Hughes saw plenty of action this spring, keep seeing even more action tonight with the Dragons.
And that one runs in and hits Croce, and it seemed like it caught him on the guard, but that is a scary sight right there. He seems totally fine and is up and walking. I think that one caught him right there on the guard that's right on the face of the helmet.
That was almost a broken jaw. If it wasn't for that guard that they instituted into these helmets after Giancarlo Stanton a couple of years ago got hit in the face in Milwaukee, that's a broken jaw or a broken cheekbone, something. His face wouldn't be the same after that one.
And girls and boys, that's why you wear your helmet when you're playing baseball. And also very important to have that little guard right there, because without it, Croce could have been seriously injured right there.
We talked about your baseball experience back in the day. I actually did wear one of those jaw guards when I played baseball growing up.
There you go. So with the runner at first and nobody out here in the bottom of the 7th, Travis Hobbins-Siefkin comes to the dish. Out and right tonight. Going over to second is Croce. Here's the throw down. That one skipped into the outfield. Moat backs it up, but it's a stolen base for Nick Croce, his 2nd of the night, and 7th overall for the Stallions. Hobbins-Siefkin was intentionally walked in his last at-bat, which loaded the bases, and then the Stallions cashed in 6 after that. 2-0 misses upstairs. It's 3-0. And, Nick, if I'm head coach Colin Martin, I'm realizing this is the bottom of the 7th here. You got nobody out. I would say that pushing for the mercy rule here is definitely in play, given that you just had a 6-run 6th.
Exactly. You definitely need another crooked number. Only up by 4. You still need 6 runs to get you there.
That one is skied. Hobbins-Siefkin will take first base. And now there's runners at first and second with nobody out. That's now 10 walks, base on balls, and hit by pitch combined for the Stallions. We talked about how disciplined of a team they've been, Nick, showing it again once here tonight.
Coming into the game, they were first in the Eastern Conference of the PGCBL. Like you said, they've shown it here tonight. Plate discipline, that's been the biggest thing. No need to chase pitches out of the zone. I can only really recall once when Hobbins-Siefkin swung out of his shoes with runners on the corners. But outside of that, discipline has been the name of the game for the Stallions.
And now finally, Hughes finds the zone. But he seemed out of control here in the bottom of the 7th.
Control is normally a word to describe him. In 20 innings this year for Hudson Valley Community College, he only had 11 walks, walking about less than one batter an inning.
Runners are in motion. That one runs inside.
Both runners went, but it actually hits Barbero, so now the bases are loaded with nobody out. Second hit by pitch of this inning. All three batters that have gotten aboard have gotten there through a hit by pitch or a walk. And, Nick, this feels like another monster inning is brewing here in the bottom of the seventh.
And Justin Ford is in the box again. He had the 2 RBI double last inning when the bases were juiced. Perfect opportunity to get more steaks on the grill for him right there.
So it's Justin Ford. He, by the way, had a massive 2 RBI.
Justin Ford looking to stay hot. Drove in the first 2 runs of this game when he hit over to third. Diaz committed an E5 and then got credited with 2 RBIs there in the 6th. The bases are loaded. Ford at the dish. It's a 0-1 count. Here's a pitch. Right down the middle for strike 2. Ford's got a fight here. Stallions just looking to pour it on here in the 7th. All 3 runners aboard via walks. That one misses down low for ball 1.
Action already brewing in the Dragon bullpen. A right-hander throwing down there to relieve Hughes at some point in this game.
We'll see when and if that comes to be. Ford pokes this one into right field. Chasing it is Meyer. He can't make the play. That one drops behind him. A run will score. It's an RBI single for Justin Ford, and the Stallions have hit double digits. It's 10-5.
3 RBIs now for Ford. 2 hits with runners in scoring position. They moved him to 5th, in an attempt to drive in more runs. Head coach Colin Martin pulling all the right strings tonight at Cantine Memorial Field.
Stomping all over the Dragons. Glens Falls still out-hit Saugerties.
Casey Kaminsky will be next, the shortstop. Bases are loaded, still nobody out. That one's in there for a strike. And, Nick, you just look at these Glens Falls pitchers tonight. Everybody that's featured, except for Jake O'Connor, who only pitched 2 1/3, has let up a run. This one's lifted into right center field, deep enough to score a run. Tagging is Haben Siefkin. Going over to third is Barbero, and the Stallions increase the lead. Now 11-5. Runners at the corners, 1 out for Jack Painter, the first baseman, who had an RBI single last time he was at the dish. Stallions are just 4 runs away from ending this game.
And the Stallions in front 11-5. Jack Painter in the box swings at the
Painter chops this one foul for strike 1.
He's the 6th Stallion to come to the plate this inning after 12 in the previous inning. Came up to the dish.
single and has walked.
Could see them put Ford in motion here over there at first. He's dancing around. He will go. That one bounces away. Coming home to score is Barbero. It's a double steal. And the Stallions have put up 3 here in the bottom of the 7th and lead it by 7.
And the crazy thing is, to me, it's 12-5. Stallions are up by 7. They're getting out-hit 11-8. Just doesn't make sense.
I think the reason for it is because they've cashed in off those errors. Painter with a big cut and a miss. 1-2 count. It's been a rough outing here for Jaden Hughes coming into this game. 4 walks for him before giving up the RBI single to Ford. Nine runs over the last inning and a third for the Stallions here at Cantine Field.
1-2 from Hughes. Is swung on and missed. He picks
Painter goes down on strikes. 2 down here in the bottom of the 7th. And, Nick, you kind of felt like, especially against this Dragons squad, it wasn't a matter of if the Stallions were going to score. It was a matter of when.
Especially based off of matchups last season here at Cantine. We spoke about it in the pregame. We also spoke about it during the game already. The run differential was just absurd. 57 runs for the Stallions, only 13 for the Dragons.
Sanchez at the dish. He's behind the dish tonight. Started that 6-run rally in the 6th with a walk. Came around to score, and then went down looking in his second at-bat of the inning. Big cut and a miss right there, and he's quickly down 0-2.
After 3 runs have already been plated, Hughes finally getting ahead of Painter and now Sanchez these past 2 ABs.
Just seeing some of that traffic disappear from the base paths. Sanchez stays alive, pops this one foul. The count stays at 0-2. And another problem, Nick, in this game for the Dragons is no pitcher has gone longer than 2 1/3 innings.
That is a big problem. That is a big problem for sure. Depth out of the bullpen just not there tonight for the Dragons.
Sanchez goes down on strikes after an ugly start to the inning. Jaden Hughes finishes things off with back-to-back strikeouts, but not before the Stallions put 3 more on the board. It's 12-5 heading to the 8th. Stallions have blown this game wide open. 9 runs between the 6th and 7th has us at 12-5 ponies. New arm on the mound here in the top of the 8th for Saugerties is the Rutgers product, Charles Batista.
Big guy out on the mound, 6'4", 220 power fastball from Batista coming out of the bullpen here in the top of the 8th.
And Batista, 8 1/3 innings pitched at Rutgers this past season. 2.16 ERA within those innings, and he actually made his collegiate debut at 8th-ranked Oregon State, struck out a pair, and had a 1-2-3 inning in mid-March.
He also did have a start in the field as well, an outfielder, 2-way for Rutgers last year. He went 0 for 2 against Monmouth in a 13-2 loss against Monmouth.
And, Nick, I got to ask you, he was at Don Bosco Prep at one point, which is your high school. Any interaction with Batista back in the day?
When I was a freshman, he was on the varsity as a sophomore
I would expect so, given his numbers.
Yes, he did throw very hard. I knew that. I didn't get to face him in practice or anything. That would have been really funny, full circle moment. If
Maybe we can put that together.
that would not be the worst thing. I'm sure he would strike me out, but that's okay. Hey, you never know.
That fastball is looking pretty zippy right there on the mound right now. Chase Falcon, the left fielder, at the dish. So it seems like, Nick, now that we need to do a couple of things, as this one's grounded off of Batista, goes into the outfield. Unfortunate bounce. Cavazzoni can't get there, so it's a leadoff single for Falcon. Seems like we need to get you hitting against Charles Batista and me trying to strike out some Stallions batters.
I think we should do a compromise. You pitching, me hitting.
I don't know if our viewers want to see that. I think that'd be pretty ugly.
Ugly. That would be great baseball. Are you serious?
Jackson Muller at the dish now, the first baseman. He's 1 for 3 tonight. Falcon gets his lead off of first. That one misses down low for ball 1. And you mentioned how Batista is a two-way player. He only got 2 at-bats this season, both against Monmouth. 1 for 2 in that game.
He was a two-way player also in high school. He was ranked the number 458 prospect nationally, number 11 for the state of New York, where he transferred to the Hun School going into his junior year of high school.
That one falls out of Sanchez's glove, but is still called a strike. Batista, the 4th pitcher tonight for the Stallions. Matt Drilling started things off. Then Keller Osborne made his first appearance, and then it was Daniel Mochio. So 3 new faces and now a 4th unfamiliar arm in the Stallions sense of things here tonight. Throws the off speed and is ahead 1-2.
Power fastball on display right there. Muller had no chance to catch up with that one. Sanchez couldn't even catch it.
1-2 count. Falcon over at first. Strike 3, got him. That was nasty. And there's one down here in the top of the 8th.
Went with the breaking ball, an absolutely knee buckler from Batista on that one. Completely fooled Muller.
And Batista, a powerful arm in high school, and I would expect throughout this season you'll see him come out in kind of a closer role for this squad. Posted a .21 ERA in high school, giving up just 1 earned run as Sanchez just a little bit sloppy there. Falcon will move up his free 90 feet. And a few balls have gotten past Sanchez tonight. It's not been his cleanest behind the dish.
3rd time this inning, a Batista fastball that Sanchez just didn't catch already. 3 times this inning.
Here's the pitch. Misses down low, and Batista was the number 11 overall prospect in New Jersey. Number 1 outfielder in the state, rated by Perfect Game. When you have that much of a gun out there in the outfield, why not go onto the mound and use that same firepower?
Why not step onto the football field and play some quarterback? 6'4", 220, show off that gun in front of a lot of people out on the football field.
Well, he didn't play football in high school, but he did play basketball. That's called a balk by Joe Lasapanera Sr. So now Falcon will go to 3rd. Falcon's moved up 180 feet, and he hasn't even stolen a base, Nick.
Pass ball and a balk. That'll do it.
Sack fly opportunity here for Muller. Misses upstairs for ball 3. Batista struggling a little bit with the control.
Ryan Jones has got a 3-0 count. Behind him is the 10-hole hitter in Christian Mo.
Stallions on the cusp of staying undefeated here at home. Would be their 2nd win at Cantine of the season. Batista misses inside for ball 4. Runners at the corners with 1 out here in the 8th.
Seven-run game. Stallions ahead on the scoreboard. This is the last thing that head coach Colin Martin wanted. Batista walking everybody, not throwing strikes. If the Dragons want to come back, if you're the Stallions, they have to hit their way back.
That one's in there for a strike to Christian Moat, the second baseman in the 10-hole. Upcoming schedule here for the Stallions. We'll travel to Boonville tomorrow. That one, a 6:45 start, 6:30 Archtop pregame show. Stallions will have off on Friday and Saturday before resuming action here at home to Amsterdam on Sunday night, the first meeting between the Stallions and Mohawks of the season.
Amsterdam knocked out the Stallions in last year's playoffs, so definitely a matchup that we're going to be ready for, and a great baseball game that looks.
Batista deals. Almost got him with a heater, some late contact by Moat. And the last time the Mohawks were here, it was a tight battle, but you go back to the first time they traveled to Cantine of last season, the Stallions would walk off Amsterdam in the 9th inning. That was a magical moment and was really a season-defining point that the Stallions were going to make a push for the East, trying to do that here in 2025. Batista rings him up. A late call right there by Jeff Ramsdale, and there's 2 down here in the top of the 8th. Moat was frozen. 2 strikeouts here for Batista in the top of the 8th. This one's rocketed to Cavazzoni. He gloves it. Stroh lines out to the second baseman. Stallions put up a 0 on defense for the first time in 2 innings. We head to the bottom of the 8th. Saugerties up by 7. Yep. Bottom of the 8th here at Cantine Field as we near the 10:30 mark on the evening. New pitcher on the mound is Ethan McGarry out of Mercy.
6'2", 190, just completed his freshman year, like Dan just said, at Mercy College. 5.34 ERA in 14 appearances this spring. He made one start. Finished with a record of 2-0.
He'll face Gabe Cavazzoni in his first at-bat. McGarry, the 7th pitcher of the night for the Dragons. They've been burning through that bullpen. Nobody throwing more than 2 1/3, that being Gabe Gifford. First 2 pitches here from McGarry are balls upstairs. Stallions just need 3 runs to end this game early and not have to go play defense in the top of the 9th. This one is swung on deep to left field. There for it is Falcon, and there's 1 out here in the top of the 8th. Luis Rodriguez is next. Rodriguez tonight has been spectacular. RBI double, a couple of stolen bases. Has reached on a hit by pitch. 6th time at the plate tonight. Nick, I think you know you're doing something right when your team allows you to come up 6 times to the dish in a single game.
12 runs, but only 8 hits. Rodriguez had a big one, the big RBI double previously in this game.
Leaves that one upstairs. It's 2-0. Same count that Cavazzoni had before he lined out to left field. In there for a strike. And after that game against Amsterdam that we already talked about on Sunday night, Stallions will travel to Glens Falls, have an off day on the Tuesday before returning here to face the Dragons again. So a lot of Glens Falls in Saugerties' future. That one's in there for a strike.
Definitely going to go against the Dragons that they've had to use 7 different pitchers for these next matchups. The Stallions would have seen a lot of the Dragon arms thus far, just in one game alone.
And for the Stallions, before they face tougher play in the division, as this one is smoked to left center field, chasing it is Stroh. He makes a beautiful diving play in center field. Steals an extra base hit from Luis Rodriguez, and there's 2 out here in the bottom of the 8th.
Full extension dive on that one. Stroh, the center fielder, robs Rodriguez, the center fielder for Saugerties, of extra bases. What a play by the center fielder for the Dragons.
And everyone knowing that that should have been a hit right there for Luis Rodriguez. Nick Croce to the dish with 2 out here in the bottom of the 8th. Grounds this one over to third. Diaz fields it cleanly, throws to first, and that one gets past Muller. Couldn't field it on the bounce. Going to second is Croce. Another error for Glens Falls. That is their 4th of the ball game.
Second alone now on Diaz. He has 2 of the 4 errors.
E5 goes down in the scorebook. It's been an ugly day on defense for the Dragons. Can't look away from it. It's been a lot of the reason why the Stallions are up big. Travis Hobbins-Siefkin will get another at-bat. Back-to-back walks for him in the 6th and the 7th. The top 3 for the Stallions team have come up 3 times in the last 3 innings, respectively. Off-speed misses upstairs for ball 1.
The Stallions did shake up their lineup tonight a little bit. Ford, who hit second in the first 3, was dropped to 4, sliding up Croce and Hobbins-Siefkin 1 spot in the lineup.
That one falls out of the glove of Jones, and Croce doesn't move. He got a couple steps off of second, but he will stay there. And now Jones just going to talk things over with McGarry And I'm not sure what the reason is for the mound visit here with 2 outs and it being a 7-run game.
It looked like a cross-up, maybe some sort of miscommunication. Catcher Jones had his glove on the lower part of the strike zone looking for a breaking ball, but the fastball might have shocked him.
It's 2-0 count. Stallions will improve to 3-1 with a win. This one is smoked. A moonshot to deep left field. Travis Hobbins-Siefken sends it a long ways. And the Stallions lead it by 9.
That's the mammoth home run we've been looking for as Stallion fans.
A mile high and a mile long.
Nick, first home run of the season for these Stallions. We talked about it so much. They've been playing base to base so much this season. That's the first triple or home run this season.
You couldn't have said it. I couldn't have said it better myself, Dan.
And that one was a missile. A missile and a moonshot. That thing had plenty of distance on it, at least 360 out there into left field. Barbero at the dish takes a ball.
As soon as he hit it, Hobbins-Siefken just admired it as well.
He knew it, Nick, off the bat. He knew it. And what a night for Hobbins-Siefken in this one. Ends up with a 3-for-4 line, 2 walks in there as well, and 1 strikeout.
That'll be a nice souvenir for whoever picks it up. That one left any bit of stadium grass.
Barbero trying to replicate it, sends this one high in the sky, can't corner to center field. Stroh under it, makes the play, but not after Travis Hobbins-Siefken says, Houston, we have a problem, and takes one deep. 9-run game headed to the 9th. Back here in the top of the 9th, this one has become a bloodbath. Travis Hobbins-Siefken with the 2-run bomb in the bottom of the 8th to make it 14-5. Aiden Gallagher, the pinch hitter, here in for Carpiers in the top of the 9th. So that's now 3 different hitters that have been in the 2-hole tonight for Glens Falls. Batista out there for his 2nd inning of work, just looking to shut things down and send this small Stallions crowd home happy, those who are still here at this point. It was a good amount of fans to start, but with this game running till 10:30 on a weeknight, makes sense why there's not that many people still here at Cantine Field.
I saw a little bit of a younger crowd here tonight prior to this 10:30 time, but they got school tomorrow. They got to go to bed.
Nick, it's past my bedtime right now. I want to go to bed. This one misses down low for ball one. We'll just have to get our beauty rest before that bus ride to Boonville tomorrow. Stallions on the road, 6:45 start. Out there with a 6:30 Archtop Fiber pregame. 1-2. Flared out to left field, and that will get down for a base hit. The pinch hitter Gallagher produces a leadoff single. And now we'll see another pinch hitter here. Logan Moat will be next. Moat replaces Diaz, the third baseman, and is the brother of Christian Moat, who's batting in the 10-hole tonight. That one skims him on the helmet, and Batista having trouble with the control here to start the top of the ninth. Why don't you make it 3 in a row, Nick, here? Brendan McLaughlin coming to the dish now, the catcher.
So head coach for the Dragons, Ryan Dio, he's just emptying the bench.
And why not get some more reps for your guys in at this point? You know the game is most likely over, barring an improbable comeback. Runners at first and second with nobody out here in the top of the ninth. That one misses down low for ball one. And next Sunday night is going to be the real first true test for this team, going against that top-ranked Amsterdam squad right now, who sits at 4-0 in the PGCBL, and they're the only team that will have a better record than the Stallions after this game.
They've just been dominant. Pitching, hitting, running the bases, all around. It's not an accident that they're undefeated.
1-1 count. Both runners will go. Hit and run. No chance for a double play. Kaminsky will just go to first for the force, and there's one out here in the top of the ninth. My thing with that is it really necessary to be putting on the hit and run here in the top of the ninth in a 9-run game? Head coach Ryan Dio certainly thinks so. With one out, Trent Jenks, the extra hitter, will come to the plate after McLaughlin was retired on the fielder's choice. Jenks has been excellent for the Dragons tonight. A 2-for-3 evening for him with 2 RBIs, stolen base, and a run scored in there as well. Dragons with the chance for some consolation runs here in the ninth, with runners at second and third. That one smacked to the right side foul. Batista a strike away from getting the second out of this top of the ninth. Oh, 2. Fouled back.
Emergency hack right there from Jenks. That ball was almost in Sanchez's glove before Jenks pulled the trigger.
Forecast for tomorrow night in Boonville, 81 degrees. 40% chance of rain, expected to be about 0.3 inches throughout the day. Shouldn't affect the game. First of 2 trips that Stallions will make to the Lumberjacks this season. 0-2. Strike 3. Got him swinging. And the Dragons are down to their final out of this game.
Absolutely sorted Jenks right there was Batista. That was a very feeble swing, if you ask me.
Van Alsten at the dish. Since coming into this game in the third, he is 0 for 2 with a walk. Runners still at second and third. Batista deals, pumping the gas right down the middle. Strike 1. Stallions cruising to victory here at Cantine Field, but it wasn't always that way. Did trail at 1.43 in this game before putting together 11 runs. This one's poked out to right field. Haben-Siefken is there, and this one is over. In the first meeting of these two teams here at Cantine Field, the Stallions come out on top with a 14-5 victory over the Glens Falls Dragons and improve to 3-1 on the young season.
Absolute domination all around tonight for the Stallions. Pitching, hitting, running the bases, 7 stolen bases. Stallions, what looked like was going to be a close game, just absolutely had an offensive onslaught to end it in the 6th, 7th, and 8th.
This was just a game where the Stallions had to struggle through some adversity early on, but once things started to get going, it was smooth sailing, and the Stallions do what they do best, put up runs. That's now 3 of their first 4 games where they've scored 10+, Nick.
And they did so with extra base hits, finally, right? Haben-Siefken hits a homer, 2 RBI double from Ford. Rodriguez hit a double. Extra base hits was one of my keys coming in, and boy, oh boy, did the Stallions do it in a big way.
And Nick, Boonville up next for the Stallions team. And that's going to be an interesting one up between these two teams this season. But now we have to go down to our sideline reporter, Hannah Tampasis, who's with our player of the game, Travis Haben-Siefken. And, 1 second, we were told Hannah was going to be with Travis, but head coach Colin Martin is going to talk real quick with his group, and we'll get you that in a second. Nick, just recapping this win. It seemed like the Stallions had the offensive might to do it. Just took them a little while to get things going. But, man, oh, man, once the offense did get going, taking advantage of those errors and walks, there was no chance the Dragons were coming back.
It was like a snowball that just kept rolling down the hill without being stopped. The Stallions just drove in runs, and they finally got big hits with runners in scoring position.
And now we will send it down to our sideline reporter, Hannah Tampasis, who's with Travis Haben-Siefken.
I'm here with Travis Haben-Siefken, the player of the game, who went 3 for 4 with 4 runs, 2 RBIs, 2 walks, as well as a home run. What incredible stats for the game. As we stated before, the Saugerties Stallions is leading the PGCBL with stolen bases, and you tonight had 3. What's the secret to keep being aggressive?
Honestly, the best thing is to be aggressive, put pressure on the pitcher. They're always struggling with that and putting pressure on the catcher. So.
Yes, and at the top of the 6th, the Stallions allowed Glens Falls to steal home. Rather than getting rattled up, the Stallions then put up 6 runs at the bottom of the 6th. What happened? What conversation happened in the dugout?
It was just more of a stay calm. Don't let it get to you if they're going to play like that and steal home. Just come back and score a couple runs and bring it back.
And you just finished your senior year with Johnson University, and this is your first year with the Saugerties Stallions. How do you plan on leaving a mark on your baseball career?
Just positivity, just playing hard, playing the game hard, and being a leader since I'm one of the older guys on the team, and just show by example.
And tomorrow the Stallions travel to Boonville, where you will be playing your 3rd back-to-back game and 4th game this week. What is your plan tonight to recover and prepare for the game tomorrow?
Just get a warm shower in and get some sleep. Try to get some sleep right away because, it's already late. So, absolutely, that's about it.
Well, thank you so much, and congratulations. You had an amazing game. Thank you.
Hannah, thanks so much for that. Always great to hear from our players after the game. The Stallions get the job done here at home. 14-5 the final over the Glens Falls Dragons. Tomorrow night, Saugerties will be on the road in Boonville. We'll have that one for you, a 6:30 p.m. Archtop Fiber pregame show. First pitch scheduled for 6:45. For our entire crew, including our sideline reporter, Hannah Tampasis, our 3rd member of our crew, Henry Hipschman, our producer, Bella Holleran, and my partner, Nick Zuppi, we say goodnight from Cantine Field. Stallions win it by 9.